good evening. It might be the morning. I don't even really know. The point of this, we're on a break. Erika just recently, I don't actually know the exact dates coming out, but Erika recently gave birth via major surgery to their second daughter, and I had time on my hands. So in talking to good friend Kevin Howard, who works for a major TV station, has a lot of insight and stuff, we got to talking about doing what we're going to refer to as Fireside Chats with Matt. Mostly because Dan and Erika aren't here. So if you don't like me, or you hate my stance on ravioli, just fucking skip this episode. Don't leave a review and say how much you hate me or I'm a douchebag. Just fucking skip the episode. Furthermore, just enjoy it. So Kevin and I talk about some TV shows at AMC. This movie that kind of pertains to an urban legend near his childhood home. A bunch of other random stuff. We talk about some whiskey in there if you're into that. So yeah, just a little something to give you guys something to listen to until we get back into our normal schedule. Outside of doing maybe one or two more of these, depending on timing, mostly me. I've been streaming on Twitch, Monster Madness Pod. Most of the times playing Black Ops with some friends. We do Fall Guys, Rocket League. I've been doing like single player puzzle games, just because we've found kind of a niche fan base with older puzzle games. So if you're into that, stop by. There's some talk of, I don't know, maybe I'm going to try to play the drums there. Who knows? We'll find out. But without further ado, this is my fireside chat with Kevin Howard. Yeah, I mean, obviously you're like the guinea pig for this, because normally Erika does all the intros and shit. But she's busy. She's in the hospital till Monday.
She, just had a baby.
Mm-hmm. She keeps complaining about how horrible it is, and I'm like, I don't know why you keep having them. Like, it's like this is why I don't have them.
Is this their second or third?
Second and last.
Okay.
But she has C-sections, so I just refer to gutting her like a fish. How are you doing? I don't know if I asked you that.
I'm pretty good. I had a shoot today, just for a few hours. I didn't really have to do anything other than watch in case something happened.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it was over, I fell asleep for 3 hours.
I did take a nap today too, so
feels good, man.
Well, it was. I mean, I stayed up late drinking and playing video games, but I had fun.
That's the important thing.
As we've discussed. Yeah, and then we started to watch this movie, and I was just like, I gotta go take a nap. So then we all went to bed for an hour and a half.
What were you watching?
I was watching this movie, The Buckout Road.
Oh, oof. That'll put you to sleep.
There is that too. we did finish it. It was not very good, but
yeah,
that is the purpose of this, is to not talk about the actual movie, but your life growing up there.
Yep.
Which I guess I'm kind of curious, because you sent me videos of you actually driving up and down this road. So the curse, or whatever the shitty storyline in the movie is, starring Danny Glover, which was my favorite part. Like, how close is that to what the actual tale is?
So this is one of those things where I didn't hear about it so much growing up because I didn't go to school like in my neighborhood, and high school was in the Bronx as opposed to in Westchester, the adjacent suburb. Mm-hmm. So it's something I came across on the internet like in my 20s. And so I just asked people who had gone to high school in Westchester and was like, "What? Did you ever hear about this?" And they were like, "Yeah, we did. It was creepy." So there's this street. It's in an area called White Plains, which is a city. And it's looking for the right word, not anachronistic, but it doesn't fit in the area that it's in.
Okay.
It's usually mostly suburban streets, or in like the downtown area, it's tall buildings and it's like city streets. And then this is like a completely rural street that goes on for a couple of miles with no outlets or anything. And for this one section where it's really creepy, there are like 4 houses, and supposedly one of them is known as the albino house. And if you honk your horn 3 times in front of it, albinos come out and attack you, which happens in the movie.
Yep.
And there are also supposedly 3 X's painted where either 3 witches were hanged or 3 girls hanged themselves or something or other. I always forget to look for those. What I did see the last time was like it looked like somebody had spilled blue paint, like in an area the size of a manhole cover. But the houses are extremely creepy. They're not like big and Addams Family style. They are not quite mobile home, but kind of shitty aluminum siding, like 1 story, a little too long, and a little like why did they orient them that way?
Yeah.
And 2 of them have an RV outside, which you just never see in the area. And then there's this one that has like these fucking 6-foot tall bears just standing there, like they're fiberglass or something. And they're in such a weird spot that like you're driving past, and every time it gets you, like, oh, there's a guy looking at me. But no, it's just a bear.
Big ass bear.
And then as soon as you figure out it's a bear, there's another bear, and that one still surprises you. And I never actually I've been hearing about it for probably 10 or 15 years, and I never actually went there until one day I was like, oh, I got to remember to go there. So my girlfriend and I don't think I told her where we were going. And that's a thing I do sometimes, because I did the same thing when we went to Untermeyer Park in Yonkers. And I was like, there's this park and it has cool sculpture gardens. And it turns out that's where Son of Sam did some weird ritual stuff growing up. And there were like cult things in there. So I was like, there's a road I want to check out. This time I did explain it right before we went. And I was glad I did, because like, I'm not a supernatural guy, but as soon as you cross a certain part of that street, like the last time how I described it was like you're touching a battery. Like you have your hand on something that's electric and not insulated well enough. So like you feel a very, very low voltage through you. And it's just, something just feels wrong. And there's one of the first things you see is just this sort of clearing next to the road, and there's just a single tombstone.
So I'm doing the Google Street as you're telling.
Oh, you are? Okay.
And I just got to the single, and we had talked about this before, so I've seen this, but
yeah.
I just got to the single gravestone, and I didn't realize that it's John Buckout, which is the name of the street with an extra letter in it. But
do they put an H, like Buckhout?
His name is spelled Buckhout. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because it even though it's Buckout Road, like for a while leading up to it, you're on Hall Avenue, I think and so. There's nothing that changes. Like you don't cross an intersection or anything. You're just suddenly on a different road.
And that's the thing, is like there's a bunch of houses, nice looking houses, and then all of a sudden it's just thick forest on both sides.
Yeah.
And it's very odd.
Yeah, it feels like you're way upstate New York. Some people call Westchester upstate, but we do not allow that.
You could tell me it's Europe and I wouldn't know the fucking difference.
People think like anything north of New York City is upstate, but
okay.
Westchester is your buffer.
Gotcha. Yeah, so like this road feels very much like something I would see around here. Like obviously not in a city, but driving out, kind of where we live out in the middle of nowhere, like this seems pretty, except for like the single gravestone and shit, but
like it feels kind of Appalachian.
Police line do not cross.
Something happened there.
Yeah, this is on
Google, now there's
Google
a
Maps.
for sale sign.
Oh wow!
So for the first time, I actually like recorded the ride. And my first take, I was really annoyed because like as I started up Hall Avenue, this white car was ahead of me and like not quite going fast enough. So I finally just like pulled over and waited for him to get far enough. At that house which is now just rubble.
Yeah.
A year ago, maybe 2 years ago, it was a house. When I got to that turn, his car was just sitting there.
Oh, I
So
remember
I
you telling me
stopped
about that.
probably 20 feet behind him
Ugh.
and just
Waited.
gave him a minute. And then somebody else pulled up behind me. And finally, he went around me and around the guy. And I was like, I guess I'm going too.
Yeah.
So I came around him and he had his phone. I think he was calling like the for sale number
Oh, that would make
because this
sense.
lunatic
Mhm.
thought maybe this is a good street to buy property on.
Well, I mean, for what it's worth, like if you didn't know about it, I mean, it's creepy because it just seems weird, not a place.
Yeah,
But
it feels really out of place. And there's like one point where there's just a section of wall.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
just a wall,
it's like a
like
super weird
8
road.
feet high, probably 15, 20 feet long, and there's nothing else to it.
You said it's by your parents, right?
Yeah. So I grew up in Yonkers, which is about 6 miles south of here, south of
Not
there.
a department store. We used to have department stores in Wisconsin called Yonkers.
Really?
Okay. I didn't know if you know that or if that was like a normal thing. Yeah, I didn't know Yonkers was a city name until I was probably like a teenager. I was just used to it
Oh,
being.
yeah.
I think Kohl's may have bought up all the Yonkers around here.
Oh, funny. I got to look into that because it's not a word you see anywhere else. I think it's Dutch and it means it's like the Dutch equivalent of Esquire.
Oh,
Like it's sort of a title of not nobility, but distinction.
yeah.
Um, so, like White Plains is where the two malls are that I went to growing up. And my parents now live like less than a mile from the start of Buckout Road. So last time I went to visit them, I went here first. And then as I was leaving, I was like, I've never done it in the dark. Holy shit. So I recorded again, but this time faced it to me because you aren't going to be able to see anything out the window.
Right.
And I'm not even like performing, but I'm visibly frightened in it. And I drove with the dome light on because I was scared like somebody was going to appear in my backseat.
But if you did not know that there was supposed to be this like curse or whatever, this story, would this still be scary to you?
Yes, it would.
Okay.
Yeah, because most streets in that area, like there are some that go on for a while before there's an intersection.
Mm-hmm.
Like you might go a quarter mile or something, but generally not. And there will be houses, and you can like tell property lines and stuff. This is like you're in the Lost Woods from Zelda or something. Like
just
you've been driving too long, like just wrapping your head around the geography of it.
mm-hmm.
It's like I know Harrison is here, I know White Plains is here, and Purchase is here. All of those places are closer to each other than I've been driving. It's like I know what's on 1 mile of either side of this. I've been going 6 miles and I haven't seen. It's like I should have come upon a familiar place by now.
Mm-hmm.
So like even if you don't feel like the weird energy thing I got, you're getting the sense of like I traveled through time. Maybe that's probably what happened. That's the most logical explanation.
Yeah, and so like okay, another like big urban legend or whatever from your childhood and your area is Cropsey.
Yes.
Have you ever like gone to? And it's been so long since I did any sort of research on Cropsey, so I'm certain I'm not gonna get most shit right. But have you ever gone to like the area where Cropsey is supposed to exist? And like when it boils down to, isn't Cropsey just like a name that they gave someone who kills someone or some shit? Like it's just
I think it's that there is a Cropsey Avenue
okay.
in Brooklyn, and then that story is on Staten Island, right across the bridge from where I live now. And yeah, they made it. I saw that documentary. They kind of made it sound like the insane asylum was called Cropsey, but I don't think it is. I don't even know why they called it that, but that's not a place I would want to go.
Well, I mean, insane asylums in general aren't
Yeah.
really a place that you want to go to. Andre Rand was the Cropsey killer. Oh yeah, he kidnapped 2 kids. Suspected serial killer.
Right.
Manhattan in the 50s, 60s.
That would make sense if he was sentenced to an asylum. That he would go to the one on Staten Island.
Yeah.
There's another one you got to look up. Also in Yonkers, a guy named Albert Fish.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. More famous residents. Him, son of Sam. Like we got
Well,
some names, man.
we have Jeffrey Dahmer, Ed Gein. I feel like there's
Both of
another.
them.
Yeah, Ed Gein's from Plainfield. Jeffrey Dahmer was in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I know I'm missing
Did
one
that
more,
kill
but
the clown industry? Like for birthday parties?
which one?
Ed Gein.
Ed
Was
Gein?
he the clown?
No. You're thinking of John Wayne Gacy.
Oh,
Ed Gein he like made the nipple belt and ate people. Apparently, so Plainfield is like it's comparable to the town I live in. Like very, very, very small. There's like a gas station and a hardware store. Apparently, if you go to the hardware store and ask, people don't take kindly to that. But I guess years and years and years of people just coming to see where Ed Gein was,
yeah.
like probably get fucking old quick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah.
not something you want to.
No, and so back talking about Dahmer. So the hotel that he killed a couple people at is kitty corner to the music venue that I went to probably weekly in high school. So the Ambassador Hotel is like
Jesus.
kitty corner, yeah. And apparently you can stay in the room. It's like a super expensive hotel at this point, and it probably has a lot to do with that. But I think you can still stay in the room that he killed someone in.
Would you?
No, I don't think. Like, I don't even know if I'd stay at the Ambassador just because it's a little too expensive, especially when it's just like 2 hours away.
What's expensive for Milwaukee?
I want to say it's like $350, $400 a night.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say like on average downtown Milwaukee you might be paying $250 for like a nice hotel. I think the Pfister's cheaper. That's like the super I don't want to say famous, but the very well known one is the Pfister. I'm looking at prices of the Ambassador. Well, it's PFISTR.
Oh,
I believe it's someone's name. Yeah, so
Wally Pfister, I think, is the
I think you're right.
cinematographer for Christopher Nolan, right?
Oh, that I don't know. So apparently the Ambassador is down to like $200 a night right now.
Because nobody is traveling, I guess.
There's that too. Gets up to like 300, but I believe it's either blacked out or booked out until May right now.
Okay.
But I'm sure once there's shit going on, that price goes up.
So do they like market the fact that that's
Nope.
the room, or do you have to know it's room 304 or whatever?
No. Obviously, I mean, it's pretty well known that what room it is just from police reports and news and shit. But I've never asked, and I don't know anyone that's even stayed there. Yeah. But that's like, they could have just changed the room number. Like how hotels don't have a 13th floor, but there's still a 13th floor. You know what I mean? If there's 15 floors, there's still a 13th floor. It's just not numbered. There's not 13.
A gap.
Yeah. So I think it's one of those things where like they may have just changed the room number, but it's still the same room.
Yeah, it's that doesn't count.
No. Yeah, it's not quite like the Stanley where like because we were supposed to go there in last May, and room I think it's 234, whatever one is the haunted one that Stephen King wrote The Shining about.
Oh,
it is like
237.
I think it's 237 in the movie.
In the book and one in the movie.
Yeah. But it's like over 2 times the price of a normal room.
Of course.
Because like you can stay on the 4th floor, which is more expensive. That's the most haunted floor. Or you can stay in that room. I think it's 413. Either way. But then that room gets more expensive. So it was like even just staying there for one night was like $2 something. And that's at 90 minutes out of Denver. Like it's a fucking hike into the. No, there's like a Walmart there. I think that's about it.
I slept in a room in Miami where Ozzie Davis died.
Oh.
The actor from, I couldn't name a single role he's in. But
I didn't even know the name.
He had been filming a movie, like I think mid to late 90s, and just I think had a heart attack in the hotel. And I finally got one of the staff to admit to the fact that it was my room. Was he telling the truth? I don't know.
And it's not like a serial killer, any like famous person, but I don't know if you ever heard there was the Crown Plaza, I think it was, in Chicago suburbs. There was a girl who got drunk and like stumbled into a cooler and locked herself in and died. So there's actual video of like her stumbling around, and that is the hotel where they changed it now, but that's where all those horror conventions were that I would go to. So we used to get drunk and like try to figure out which one it was, and people wouldn't talk about it. But it's like if you watch the video of her walking, like we were standing in that hall, and like we just walked right into the kitchen, and like no one stopped us. And eventually we're like, well, it's probably like this cooler or whatever. But digressed
But
quite a bit.
what if you went in and it was like a speakeasy now?
I don't
That would be
know.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be actually.
That reminds me of Eliza Lamb at the Hotel Cecil in L.A.
Yes,
It was a
we
girl
just
like,
yeah.
whoa,
So we just watched Ghost Adventures did like a special for the launch of Discovery Plus, and it was
yeah,
like a 90-minute thing, and it was at that hotel trying to find what happened with that, and it's creepy as fuck. Like I think that show
yeah, that
is
was creepy.
dramatized
And then
quite a bit, but that episode was pretty
yeah,
good.
I mean that when you have the video from the
Yeah,
elevator, like you can't
they show it quite
fake
a
how
bit.
creepy that is. And the lobby of that is insane. That was
It's closed now, right?
it's called something else.
I believe they
I was
changed the
there like
name,
2 years ago. It's
Stay
like
on.
Stay on Main.
Yep.
Yeah,
But I believe it is now shut down.
I mean it's on a very very shitty block of LA,
Is it? And like
like
none the
Skid Row.
rooms looked really bad too. Like it didn't look like a
Yeah,
clean place.
it was pretty much like between that and the hotel in Chicago from World's Fair.
Well, the Wadsford.
Was the basis for that season of American Horror Story.
Oh yeah.
Forget the one where H.H. Holmes had all his shoots and ladders
his
and stuff.
murder house or whatever the fuck they call
Yeah.
it.
What are you drinking there?
Old fashioned. I got like the most Wisconsin cup that we have in our house. It's got like a deer painted on it, like a tree.
Aw,
Shit, it's super weird. I didn't even know we had
beautiful.
it. But I did go with whatever whiskey you told me to get.
Oh, New Riff
New
single
Riff, yeah,
barrel.
it's very
How do you
good.
like it?
It's very good. And then I used I haven't had an old fashioned in a very long time, so I was very excited to do this. But I went with my classic orange slices, the candied orange slices, to make it extra sweet. And then I have brandy soaked cherries, a little bit of cherry juice, some water, and then the muddled old fashioned mix, Gary's, and then whiskey.
I
That's
looked
it.
for that. I wanted the orange slice thingies.
Yep.
Couldn't find them at the store, and it took me more than 20 minutes to find cherries too. I was getting so frustrated, but I finally did. I have the slice and the cherry, and I like to theme my drinks to the podcast I'm on.
We did try
Buckout
to
Road.
find a mashing whiskey, but obviously I'm not going to get New York stuff. And I'm certain if I would have asked the guy, and like this is the liquor store that I go to like weekly, so I get most of my beer, if not all of it. So the guy knows who I am, but I still I don't buy a ton of whiskey. So if I ask stupid whiskey questions, like I feel bad. So I was going to be like, can I get one from New York? So
That's a perfectly okay question to ask.
It really is, but
yeah.
Before I found that single barrel Knob Creek, the 10-year one for our wedding anniversary, I had asked him like, if you see something, let me know. And you would have thought that I asked him to do my taxes.
Oh,
I was like, dude, this is a fucking simple question.
Yeah.
You see the shit that comes in, 10-year, just let me know. He was like,
His name is
maybe I'll
10-year?
forget. No. I said, if you see a 10-year come in.
Oh.
Yeah, I said, just let me know. And it was,
Yeah.
But
yeah, I looked for something. I found
buckwheat.
It's not buckout, but it's buckwheat.
Well, you could just black out the W and then change the O or the E and the A to an OU. You've made.
Yeah. Well,
buckout.
if you change eat to out, then you have buckout pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's made by a Catskill Distilling Company in New York, and the Catskill Mountains feels like it's like that kind of wooded, hilly, windy road that you get.
Yeah, I will shortly need to take a break to make another one. I didn't want to bring all this stuff in here because that's how I make a mess.
Oh, I have it all in front of me, and I know I'm gonna knock something over.
That's why I keep paper towel for more than
I have one.
No, a single napkin. Do you need more Garys?
Let's see where I am.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably by the time it gets to you. Well, I have to wait because it's so cold. Like, I'm not going to ship a liquid. So next time I'll grab you a bottle and.
Oh, that would be nice. This stuff is. What's it called? Gary's Original Old Fashioned Mix. You have the muddled one. Is that different?
Mm-hmm. I can bring it back with me. So I brought back the muddled one. Has an orange label.
Oh, you know what I've never done is sweet or sour soda.
Oh yeah, so that's like if you go to a bar here, it's usually you order it sweet or sour, and instead of like water, it's like it's what, probably 1 ounce of booze, probably 1 ounce of mix, maybe 2 ounces, and then they top it off with soda. So like growing up, my mom always ordered, it was a brandy old fashioned sweet with olives. So when I got older,
With olives, huh?
yeah,
Okay.
I don't like olives. I think olives are disgusting.
They do you hate green olives or black olives more? Because I
Both.
can't decide.
The only
They're
thing, yeah, they're like mushy and weird. If it's like on a pizza, there's enough other stuff to hide it, I'll eat them. But that's really about it. People who just eat, like, there's a grocery store here. You can just, it's like it has an olive bar. I think that's disgusting.
oh,
Yeah, I'm like, fucking kill
oh.
yourself. Even like I've seen like almond stuffed olives, like even that, like, and I really like almonds. That just
Yeah.
ugh.
Like the one time I've been able to tolerate them is I don't know what these things are, but it's like the olive is inside of a tater tot almost. It's not a tater tot. It's like a breading or something
What?
or a what are those things? What's
I'm looking these things up.
what's the candy? And in some movie it's not candy, but like pretzel with something in it, and they put pills in it and toss it over a fence to make the dogs eat it.
The
It's not
Sandlot?
Rolos.
Oh. I thought you were talking about the movie. What movie was that? Was it The Sandlot?
I don't remember. Like it might have been Nobody's Fool with Paul Newman.
Oh my god, I've never even seen that movie.
And I forget it. They come in a little white bag.
I don't even know how to Google this.
I have a Google contest. That's great for podcasts.
Well, whatever. I didn't realize that Nobody's Fool just came out. Oh, is this the romance?
No, not that one.
The all
from like '94. That's one of the
yep.
prime like small town wintry movies.
I didn't know that there was a genre for it. I just assumed Fargo was the only one.
What the hell are those things called? You know the things. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, I'm certain once we figure it out, I'll.
But like, it's think of a tube of pretzel, and in it is a filling.
So
and they're like
a filled pretzel rod.
Yeah, but just a like small. This is where the live chat.
Yeah, I know. It's once in a while it comes in handy.
When people are just screaming the answer at you.
A lot of like peanut butter filled pretzel nuggets.
What are those called?
Peanut butter filled pretzel nuggets.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah.
I can like draw the bag. And the text is written in red. Oh my god. This must be so frustrating to listen to.
Oh, I'll probably edit a lot of this out. I actually have to do that for this show. Well, Erika normally does it, but you know,
Poor Erika.
Birth and all.
Let me spend my postnatal hours just getting rid of the part where they try to figure out what pizza things are called.
I asked her, I was like, do you want me to do it or see what happens? I don't know.
She was like, and no.
She is already complaining about being in the hospital. Like, she said that they want to keep her till Monday. She's hoping to get out tomorrow.
It's unpleasant.
So
that's major surgery.
Food's pretty good. Yeah. She says something about, she said, show me a picture of her arm because they kept fucking up her IV, so her arm's just all black and blue now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like up and down. Oh, that's...
Mostly just right in the ditch. Sad. It's not like the entire arm, but it looks very, very unpleasant.
Yeah. Here, I'm putting this to the text chain. What are the things that come in white bags? They're like little pretzel bites, but with filling, like early '90s snack.
The more you describe it, the further and further away from anything that I think it might be. It is.
I keep thinking they're like pizza O's, but they're not. It's not something like that.
Pizza O's?
Like, but they're not
sounds
that.
Like something I really want. Pizza O's.
Yeah, you should see if like DoorDash does that.
Oh,
Rolios.
Rolios. Now you're just taking Rolos and adding letters to it. Pizza O's is a pizza sauce. I assume you're not. Yeah, you're texting your other group.
I sent a text to our group.
Oh, I didn't get it yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you send it to the? Oh my God. I'm sorry. Remember how we talked about how their notifications are
Oh,
silenced?
yeah,
Yeah. I don't know the answer, so there's really no point in me even reading.
yeah. Where that came from, I don't remember. Oh, yes. It's an acceptable thing for me to have olives in.
Oh. Okay. Interesting. I guess we should kind of get back on topic. Not that I really care, but we had there was a couple things we had talked about talking about. How smart of us.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't talk about the
No,
any of the details of the movie other than Danny Glover's in it, and the yes,
CGI
your
is
question
really bad.
was the legend as featured in the movie. Is that what I heard about growing up, so to speak?
Yep.
It's what I heard about on the same website that the guy who wrote this found it all on.
Yeah.
It's the same shit.
Which is odd because it seems like a pretty that even Cropsy, but they both seem like very regional specific urban legends. So
Yeah.
like the fact that those both got made into movies, maybe it's just because it's a more densely populated area. Like we had
interesting. Yeah.
Speaking of urban legends, like growing up, we had two that I had heard about. There was this house. I wonder if I can find it. I'm certain I can. I just gotta try to multi-focus to send you the Google Maps for it. But behind the mall area in Sheboygan, there was this old like Spanish style house, just referred to as the Spanish house. And like it was no one ever really lived there as far as we knew. But the big thing was to try to like break into it. And the legend was that if you got in, there was a
little crime.
Yeah, there was a red phone on the counter that if you got in would ring, and it directly dialed the police because you broke into the house. Because so many people used to break into it. Because I guess there was some story that in the World War II era, like a Nazi German doctor moved in there and was doing experiments on people.
Jesus.
So one of the things he did was like chain someone to a stop sign down the road, and the stop sign was like very clearly just like someone threw paint at it, but we're like, "Ooh, it's blood." And it was blood, and like now looking back, I'm like, God, we're so dumb. That was one, and then the other one was there was this tree over by the lake, and the thing was like, oh, it's got this fungus that only grows on this one tree because a girl hit it driving and her forehead hit the tree, and now this fungus grows there. Like those are the only two ones that we have.
Oh yes, brain fungus.
Yeah, brain fungus. The Spanish house one was a lot creepier than the brain fungus one.
Yeah, like your reward for breaking into this place is that the alarm system works.
Yeah. I don't even they may not even be there anymore. Yeah, it's like near a cemetery and shit too.
Well, one of the frustrating things about this movie
is his existence.
Well, it was shot in Canada.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And like I didn't realize till way after, which tells you like how much it didn't matter. But like Henry Czerny is the detective at the Valhalla police station, which is a real town in Westchester. So I was like, oh, they didn't get the White Plains police station, they got the Valhalla one. But that's the only like actual connection to the area. I don't even remember if they call it White Plains in the movie. So like even that fun part of it where it's like, oh yeah, there's that playground where we used to go down the slide.
Yeah, sorry. I was trying to like process thoughts in my head, and I ruined it. So I'm gonna send. So the Spanish house is gone. It appears to have been torn down. That's the Google Maps of where it was. Now the weird thing is, across the street is a cemetery that both my dad's parents are buried in. Just weird fact.
Coincidentally, or like because they were married.
No, I mean they were married. And it's a Catholic. It's like one of the two Catholic specific cemeteries in the city.
Okay, I'm looking at the cemetery, and across the street is
So apparently
there used to be a circular driveway.
Yep. Of course, ad blocker. But cool. Apparently, there was a mystery about this that to solve that the Sheboygan Press wrote about. If you Google Spanish House Sheboygan, Wisconsin, like a shitload of stuff shows up, which is actually surprising, including pictures of the house. But you could
Ad blocker.
certainly, yeah, I know, you could certainly see like, ooh, I just spit over my microphone. As kids, like how this was so intriguing to us.
Okay. Well, I think my favorite type of urban legend is, so there's this very special period of time uh, from the early to mid 90s where the internet was approaching, but it wasn't really keeping a record of stuff the way how like anything that happens starting in 2000 or 2002, you can find out everything about it on the internet because somebody documented something about it.
Yep.
But there's this like, or like before the internet, when information wasn't global, stuff was worthy of being written about in like local newspapers.
Yeah. Yep.
So you can find it there. But there's this like gap where cable news existed. So like anything smaller than a global story just didn't get chronicled. And there's no way to look into it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my favorite period. And that's when I was becoming a teenager. And it's like you kind of remember hearing about things growing up, but there's no way to look for them. Like the Blimpie in the mall near my house. Are you familiar with Blimpie?
Yep. Never eaten one, but I know what they are.
It's this one for some reason had a basement where with a dining area,
Weird.
like a really kind of creepy basement. And then there was a legend that the this one particular guy that worked there that like everybody knew who he was, and it wasn't like a hangout. It wasn't like the Max on Saved by the Bell. It was just a place everybody happened to have eaten at one point or another.
Mm.
That he would take kids down there and molest them. And every couple of years, I'll post on Facebook like, "Wait, do I remember that? Do I remember hearing about that, or did I make it up, or like was it true?" And then the same people respond. They're like, "You asked this 3 years ago, and we said yes, it's true." Because my brother's friend knew someone who heard that it happened to someone else.
And that's like the weird, like exactly what you're talking about is like there's no. So I glanced through this news article. Spanish house is owned by Dr. Friedrich Eigenberger, who was from an Austrian native and just had a bunch of weird shit. And apparently, it was not just like my circle of friends, but he was one last time made a good doctor. Usual was his perceived connection to the Nazis. He belonged to the German-American Bund, an organization dedicated to education and the German culture. Sheboygan obviously is a huge German population. Most of Wisconsin does. Sheboygan
Okay.
too. They filed charges against the local group, claiming they maintained a Nazi camp in or near Sheboygan and were really part of a subversive German spy system. So the weird Nazi stuff was not false, I guess.
Okay.
It was the truth was stretched, but I didn't realize that there was actual like
Yeah, it was founded in
potential
something.
Nazi ties. Yeah. Yeah, they disbanded the group in 1942. Lack of interest, perhaps fear of prosecution, and perceived association with Adolf Hitler. But apparently,
Oh wow! So they were like OG Nazis. They weren't like
yeah.
post World War II. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So
I thought this was like the '60s.
Nope.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a weird. So I guess that would make sense. And I never went inside of it because we would always go at night, and it's fucking creepy. And you'd have to like hop a fence. So I don't know if the phone part was real. But yeah, it's a creepy fucking place.
But I mean, probably somebody went in there and there was a telephone that was red, which is an unusual color for a phone.
Right. Which when you look at this guy, his house, the style of the house, apparently there's a petting zoo here. Maybe having a red phone, he had shrunken heads and shit, I guess. But it's like having a red phone. Maybe that was just him. Like he wanted a red phone. Maybe the phone because
or
then you
like
have
he bought
a landline.
Like a hospital closed and they sold all their shit.
Yep. I mean, he was a doctor. He worked at one of the hospitals, and I don't know. Fucking, maybe we should have just talked about urban legends from our childhood. I mean, that's what we're doing, so I guess that works. Still no answer on these pretzel things, huh?
No.
Bastards.
Well, they're going to be so pissed when they realize what it is that I meant.
Yeah. And I mean, to Jack's credit, I was thinking about the same thing too. The Costco peanut butter filled pretzel bites. Johnny said that there's
I
Trader
guess they're
Joe's,
not
but
made of, like, they're tubes. They're
tubes.
tubes, an inch long, like of bread.
Okay.
And there's like pepperoni or
Bread
something.
tube.
Oh boy, that could be a scary Google.
Um,
A risky click.
You're not thinking of Stromboli, are you? It seems like a really easy one for
No,
you to forget.
like bite-sized stuffed rolls. They're like stuffed breadsticks, kind of. Not you, kitty cat.
I saw her walking around before.
Yeah, she's a sweet kitty.
Bosco sticks?
No, but how do you spell that? I'm going to look at them.
Bosco.
I've led you astray with the breadstick thing. They're like...
I'm going to just get a random text at some point from you that's going to have what these things are.
Yeah, and you're going to have no idea what it means.
Probably not. Probably not.
Little white foil bag.
I'm wondering if these may be region specific too.
I really don't think they are.
Probably not. I'm just trying to make you feel better about us not being able to figure this thing out.
Although it is just like with Yonkers, it's funny when there's something you assumed was national,
Yeah.
and then you bring it up, and it's or like what's the main when you think mayonnaise? What's the main brand you think of?
Hellman's?
That's correct.
Okay.
West of a certain point, it's called Best Foods.
Oh, weird. But that's like Hardee's. Hardee's is Hardee's, but if you go south, it's Carl's Jr.
Right. Correct.
Mm-hmm. That's weird.
And I shot a commercial for Hellman's once, and we had to do everything twice. We had to do a Hellman's version and a Best Foods version.
But why? Like, what is the reasoning
like,
there?
Neither side wants to give up their mayonnaise.
It's all the same damn thing.
Yeah, but people are so brand loyal. even though the contents of the jar are the same.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense. I mean, we have Quick Trip gas stations. I guess it's Wisconsin, Iowa, and Minnesota. It's all local here. But do you have Wawas by you?
Not in my immediate area, but
you're familiar with them.
Going to Pennsylvania, yeah.
Yeah. So because obviously Erika and Dan have told me that Wawas seem very comparable to a Quick Trip.
Okay. They're usually attached to a gas station.
Yep. So Quick Trip started as a gas station, and then they're like, hey, let's fucking try hot sandwiches. And now they have pizza and hot sandwiches, and they make their own fried chicken, and you can take like meals to go home and like take home and bake pizzas. And they're fucking great. Like I have a specific debit card just for that. Because you get like 3 cents off per gallon if you get a debit card.
You get your points, yeah.
Yeah. But it's like usually anytime I go anywhere, band practice or whatever, we always stop at a Quick Trip. So it's like, and there's supposedly this food challenge, I guess, where if you're driving a distance, you have to stop at every Quick Trip and eat one cheeseburger.
Jesus.
You'll fucking die because it's like there's none out by me, but in the city of Appleton, there's probably like 6. So it's like you can't really go 10 miles on the highway without seeing 1 or 2.
Yeah, and a cheeseburger, like I thought you were going to say like a different flavor of their flavored soda fountain or whatever.
Nope, just their shitty cheeseburgers.
Good God.
They're Angus cheeseburgers.
Are they the ones like in a plastic?
No, it's in
wrap?
like paper. So it's not even like, it's like that old, well, it's like a McDonald's burger wrapper.
Do they do anything with it? Like, do you say I want a cheeseburger and then they put a patty on a grill?
Nope.
Or
it's
do
just
they
sitting there.
hand you something that's been sitting there?
You walk up and pick it up yourself. You pick it up yourself. They have those too, and then you can add like toppings if you want. But I mean, they have like they make really good breakfast food. Breakfast burritos are good. I once ate a barbecue rib sandwich at like 7 a.m. from Quick Trip. My coworkers made fun of me. It's very much comparable to a McRib, like that weird formed patty.
Yeah. They just.
But one of the best things that they have, it's chicken tender melt. So it's like 2 of their chicken tenders, 3 different kinds of cheese, and bacon on like a hoagie bun.
Oh my god.
It's incredible. There's a very good reason that I am overweight.
Oh, that sounds really good.
It is really good.
I hadn't been in the office since like March 12th, and then I had to go in, and somebody had to physically plug in a hard drive for an editor to get access to footage.
Oh wow.
And it was like turning on the power at Jurassic Park. Like one person had to go do this thing, just this simple little task, but you had to be there.
Yep.
And as soon as I got to the area, I hadn't set foot in Manhattan since my last time at work. Like I've driven through,
Yeah.
and the second I like saw my office building, I just started craving everything I used to have for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this one deli, we call it the Peep World Deli because it used to be like one of those video stores with the peep booths in the back.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's a deli, and like you get food there, which is disgusting.
Can you still peep though?
You can, but you're not supposed to.
Oh no.
But this sandwich, it's a chicken cutlet fried, like breaded, with ranch dressing, which is not a New York thing. Like I know everybody else loves ranch dressing.
Yep.
Bacon,
Mm-hmm.
and that might be it. There might be a little piece of lettuce on it, and
Lettuce would just get in the way with that one.
Yeah, I might be making up the lettuce, but I just started eating it, and like 8 minutes later, my body like alarm sirens were going off, and like all the little people that live in my body were like pulling the emergency levers and stuff. My I used to eat that like 2 or 3 times a week,
Dude, it's weird.
but I haven't.
There's
It's like my body knows something's wrong with this.
Yeah, there's a Chinese buffet by my old office. And I went not that long ago, and it's very much like, oh, when you go up you have to wear a mask and they give you gloves and stuff.
Yep.
So it's like, not that it's, whatever. I'm still going to a fucking buffet during a pandemic, like whatever. But I within hours was so fucking tired, and I felt like someone just sucked all of the moisture out of my body from all the salt. And I'm like,
oh yeah,
no wonder I fucking don't go there anymore. I was bloated for like 3 days, but then it didn't stop me from going back the next 2 weeks. But I'm like, I gotta like fucking stop. Like I love Chinese food, but like there's this sodium amounts. Oh god, it really is.
Oh, like your fingertips are tingling from just the blood pressure.
Yep.
There's just too much of everything in your system right now.
Yeah, and I drink a lot of water throughout the day, just because like my wife hates water. I don't know your stance on water, but I always I have a cup of water with me right now.
Yeah.
I have a 60-ounce mug of water that I drink. Like I used to take it to work because then I would only have to walk like so many times.
Right.
But now that I'm home, I usually drink 1 or 2 by lunch, and then maybe 1 in the afternoon.
60 ounces. That's like a gallon of milk.
Half gallon. Gallon's 128 ounces.
Is it?
Yeah. How
I don't know my measurements.
I don't know how I know that. But dude, it's
I always
fucking
thought it
huge.
was 64. Okay.
No,
that's reasonable, I guess. But...
Yeah. Whenever I'm in a meeting and I take a drink, the director just starts laughing at me. And he goes, every time I see that cup. And everyone's like, is that coffee? I'm like, no, I don't want my heart to explode. I know. Yeah.
But you're still taking a normal sip.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
kinda. Like I usually.
It's just a large. It's like when you see someone leaving the store with 80 rolls of toilet paper, and you giggle at them because clearly they have diarrhea. But also, it's like, no, they're just really smart. They're going to have that for 8 months.
Yeah,
they're going to use it at the same
rate,
square per day rate, but just the thought of them needing all of it.
Well, my wife works for a major toilet paper towel manufacturer. Like her first job there, she worked on Huggies diapers. Like, so it's a good one. Yeah, it's a big fucking company. So there was a period of time where she'd be able to bring it home, not going to the office. Now I have to buy paper towel. Didn't know how expensive that stuff was. But at one point we had so much we had to get a shelf in our basement just for paper towel and toilet paper. Yeah.
Well, as we learned early on in the pandemic, that is not something you want to be without.
No, and it really is. But you know what? I'll tell you what. Just start taking Metamucil, and your toilet paper usage will go down. That's my. I was talking to my brother one day, and he was complaining about taking a shit. I'm like, you just get Metamucil, like it'll change your life. And he thought I was joking. I made a comment again about it.
Powder?
Yeah, I get the orange stuff, and then
yeah.
So I
put it in your water.
Well, you only have so much time because it will congeal the water like within 30 to 45 seconds. Because that's it's.
So you're like chewing the water if you don't have it fast enough.
So it's psyllium husk, and what psyllium husk does is I think it like gels up all the liquid, and that's how it turns your not solid poop into solid poop.
So you shouldn't just eat it directly because you'll like.
I learned the hard way.
I went right away.
Yeah, when I first started doing it, I went up to Minneapolis for the weekend, and I'm like, you know what? I'll just pre-fill water bottles. And then the next morning, I was just eating Metamucil water, and I'm like, oh fuck, this is so fucking repulsive. Yeah, and then I said something to my wife about it.
With a knife and fork.
Yeah, I said something to Alyssa about it, and she goes, "Well, yeah, that's what it's what it's doing. Like that's what it's made to do." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm not smart."
I am not a smart man.
No, I've never claimed to be smart. I do a lot of dumb shit.
Like drive down haunted streets.
You know, I like obviously there's we've discussed like I would really like to visit. I've never been to New York, and obviously now that I have friends out there, I really want to go. But
yeah, we would have a good time.
Yeah, I really want to go down this street. Like it's not. It's not like an unreasonable drive from you, right? Like we've had this discussion where it's like, well, I drove for 3 hours, and I'm like, 3 hours I can get to 2 different states. Like, how far is 3 hours for you?
This would, I mean, especially I'm planning on moving soon, and I will end up very close to here. So it is a must for you as a horror fan, and also just as someone who likes cool things in general.
Yeah.
And just like it's weird.
So, and that's like the reason I kept asking is because like it seems very out of place. Like it doesn't seem that out of place. Just Google Street for me. Because it literally looks like I'm driving through the Northwoods of Wisconsin.
Right.
But if you start at the beginning of the road and then you all of a sudden it just stops, like I could see that being jarring, especially if you don't know that that's about to happen.
Yeah, you would just have come from a major interstate highway.
Okay.
That crosses the old Tappan Zee Bridge to get you basically into Jersey. So that's 287. It is an interstate. Then you get off the exit, and you're in like suburbia with some okay houses, and then some really nice houses, and then you cross an invisible line, and you're in the middle of fucking nowhere.
That's so
and
weird.
Then you cross another invisible line, and you see some of the nicest houses you've ever seen in your life.
So it's like just the fact, like Erika once told me that Dan was supposed to drive into Philly to get dinner for them, and he like missed a turn and all of a sudden was in New Jersey. I'm like, how do you just do that?
Yeah.
But then talking to you and you're like saying the same thing, and I'm like, it's so weird, like how small of an area all of this stuff exists in.
Yeah, Philly is on at like a certain angle of Pennsylvania, where if you just cross one body of water, you are in New Jersey.
Yeah, that's so weird.
And that's like 2 hours from where I am right now.
Oh, okay. I didn't actually realize you're not too terribly far from them.
Oh, well, that's the thing. If you continue on Buckout Road, so when you get to the end of it, you have to go either left or right. If you just went straight like 2 miles, you're in Connecticut.
That's weird to me. Yeah, and that once again, back to the whole point of like it's perception of what you're used to. It's like I don't think I've ever accidentally ended up in Illinois, but I also have to specifically drive in a direction for 3 hours to get there. And it's also like there's really 2 major highways that'll get you to Chicago, 41 and 43. 41 is the one that runs through. 43 goes straight down the lake all the way in, and they kind of meet in Milwaukee. I've never accidentally turned on the wrong one without knowing.
Well, yeah, they're like where my office is it's near 34th Street where Penn Station is. So people come from Long Island and New Jersey. There are people who live in New Jersey and commute to work in like 10 minutes. Meanwhile, I live in New York City and it takes me like 45 minutes.
That
Like you're just so close to the state line. It's
yeah, that's
but
weird.
you're in a completely different state. Yeah.
So okay, wait. No, never mind. You're in New York. You work in New York. I was going to ask you a weird tax question about working and living in a different state, but
That is something people deal with, though. I thought you were going to ask me the other question everyone asks about New York state taxes, but I guess that's irrelevant to you. Is there's this, it's like box 4A on the state return where it's just like, do you live in Yonkers?
Really?
And there's no further context to it.
Do you know
It
that
has
answer?
to do with,
Oh.
I looked it up once. I thought it had something to do with one thing, but it's apparently another. I think because I don't know what it is. It's because people tend to be overtaxed as New York City residents because you're so close to the Bronx.
Okay.
But then I thought it might have something to do with there was this whole issue. HBO had a miniseries called "Show Me a Hero"
Okay.
about like desegregation in Yonkers, essentially, and the mayor shot himself, and the court sued the city, and they were like, if you don't integrate, we are going to fine you this amount of money, and that will double every day until you do. And just the way math works, you're into $1 million like after 10 days or something, and then 2 for 8. It's like doubling down on roulette. So the city went into this major, major debt. So for years, I thought like that checkbox was to continue to help paying for that. But I think it has nothing to do with that.
Huh. Do you pay?
It's a great miniseries if you check it out.
Actually, it sounds really. Do you pay? There's a reason I'm asking because fucking sales tax. Obviously, you have sales tax because like Texas doesn't have sales tax, so their state tax return something's different. Like, do you have toll roads?
We do.
So we pay part of our taxes pays for the roads, so we don't have tolls. Illinois is different. Illinois, so if I drive to Illinois, I have to pay a fucking toll, even though I'm paying taxes in the state of Wisconsin. Shit like that
it's
bothers me.
Mostly bridges and tunnels,
Okay.
but every once in a while you're just in the middle of a highway.
Okay, yeah. Illinois is that now it's all iPass. So I don't even know if they have toll booths. I'm sure they do. It's just a sign, and it's like, didn't pay, go online. You have 7 days. And obviously I was just in Kansas, and there's tolls fucking all over.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, New York State sales tax is like 8 1/3 or something.
Oh, it's we have 5. I think we actually just went up to 5.5. But like Milwaukee and Green Bay are, I believe, 6.5 because of the stadiums. So it's a higher sales tax there to help pay for the stadiums.
They haven't paid those off yet?
Well, Lambeau added 30,000 seats like 10 years ago. Yeah, it's like 87,000 people now it holds.
Jeez. Yeah, I think the new Giants stadium is like 88,000. That's so many people.
Yeah, it's fucking unreal. Yeah, so obviously, and I know you're not a huge football fan, but like the original Lambeau Bowl is incredibly shallow in comparison, and now they make it steeper. It's either that or the other way around, but the seats are now either steeper or less steep, so they have less people, and I believe there was originally steeper to fit more people into it. I mean, it's just a fucking circle of like metal benches. it's not a comfortable place. You can rent like cushions to sit on.
That's so scary when you get like up near the top of the stadium, though. And it's just like almost vertical. You get to those seats where you can like touch the ceiling.
I've never been up there. Like usually we're in the main bowl or like the first expansion because just how we get tickets.
Yeah.
I've never fucking went up there. I never want to go up there. Like, you can do a tour. Like, if you came to visit and you wanted, we could do a Lambo tour, and they'll, like, take you up on the roof, basically.
Oh, wow.
And it's...
Like you're playing Call of Duty?
Yeah, it's fucking weird. Because, so here's the thing, is in one direction, you're looking into a football stadium. The other direction, you're just looking at houses. Like, Green Bay is just, like, rural, and the football stadium is in the middle of, like, a neighborhood.
Oh, they must love that.
Oh, I used to work with a guy who lives about a block and a half away. So he parks people in his yard because there's not a ton of parking. So people park in their yards, and that pays his property taxes. Wow. Well, with no season, no fans, he loses out on all that money. Stinks. Yeah. So it's interesting because like people will have like their garages set up and stuff. You park in their yard, you can piss in their house, and like they'll have beer and stuff. And it's kind of like a cool little thing to park in someone's yard and hang out. And you know, like that guy that I worked with, it was very nice. I'd be like, I'm going to the game. I'd pay him in advance. He would save me a spot. So literally, if he had one spot left, he would say no more people until I get there. So that was really, really nice of him to do. Okay. And like he would come out and bring us. The last time I remember turning around, he just goes, Jaeger bombs. And it was warm, flat, knockoff energy drink and warm Jägermeister.
Oh.
Yep. That was, we had to stop on the way home because Alyssa thought she was going to puke. And then we got home and she just threw up in the front yard.
Oh.
Like I had to pee so bad my back hurt. And I just we have a door out the back of our garage. And I remember parking, going to pee. And then I walk out and she's just on all fours. It was like the end of September, so it's still nice out. And she's just on all fours puking in the front yard. And then I came inside or whatever and like let the dogs out. And then she just texts me and she's like, can you bring me a pillow and a blanket? I'm sleeping on the bathroom floor. And then that was that.
One little shot changes your whole night.
She didn't even take it. She made me drink hers. But she gets motion sick. So I think it was the couple of beers and motion sickness. And it was really warm out for the time. It just was combination, but it's still fucking
that's
hilarious.
That's a bad combo.
Yeah, it's a hilarious story. Back on topic a little bit. So we had talked about this. No, it's fine. I don't really care. But we had talked about doing this because obviously your job, you work on the most notable horror TV show maybe of all time.
I think that is accurate.
Yeah, I mean,
certainly the biggest. Yeah.
Someone actually today, I was talking to my friend Dylan, and he's like, "Oh, did you watch Walking Dead?" I'm like, "No, I really don't care for it. I never really got it, and it makes no sense." But so that's kind of how we got to this point. Just backstory. Yep. But and obviously we're on the podcast is on a break because of Erika having a baby and whatnot, and you and I talk all the time, anyways. But I was gonna text you this before. And I wanted to wait, but are you watching the new Stand?
No, I don't have CBS All Access or whatever it's on.
It's on CBS All Access.
Yeah, I also heard it's not that great.
I like it a lot, but I also was raised on Stephen King.
Yeah.
So, and I don't remember the original much. But I do really like this one. Like, there are bits and pieces I don't care about.
Okay.
Or a piece of fuzz, just like, did you see that?
What was that?
I think it was either fuzz or a ghost because I've never seen something go up. And
but it was huge.
And it was just a sharp left turn. But yeah, so it's like, I have no problem paying for stuff. It's just, it gets to be very expensive. Like, we talked about Discovery Plus for some shows. That's another $5. CBS All Access, that's another $5. Netflix, that's now $17. We have Spectrum streaming for TV to get local channels pretty much probably until after tomorrow although you can watch the Super Bowl on CBS All Access, which I thought was kind of neat of them to do. But it's like we got that for football and it's just like, dude, this shit adds up and it's just getting more and more ridiculous.
I try to think about it in terms of hours of content I'm consuming it's I'm still not doing enough. So,
and that's the thing. Like,
I can't endorse sharing it, but the thought of like dissipating the number of hours consumed, it makes it more worthwhile for sure.
Yep, and it really depends. Like, there's Netflix. I think we tried getting rid of, and it was just like, it's so nice to just have it, to just turn something on.
Yep.
And they've been adding, like I saw they added Beverly Hills Ninja, which is a fucking great movie, but it's like a lot of times I'm just watching old stuff. Like, I don't really there's nothing specific that they're putting out that I really have this like undying need to watch. And
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I am not a fan of Stranger Things, which is not the show I worked on. In case people
No,
were.
yeah, it Walking Dead is what we were talking about, but
Yes.
I really liked, since you brought it up, I liked the first 2 seasons. The third one started to get a little weird. I'm sure we'll watch the fourth, but it's now like
Mhm.
there's this period, like I feel like most TV shows are really good for the first season because the first season was generally thought out, written at a more casual, leisurely pace, and then all of a sudden they're like, holy shit, we have a hit, fucking write 3 more seasons, and then that's when it starts to jump the shark. Like Alyssa watched I Zombie on Netflix, as we talked about, but I believe it was a comic book, and she goes, it was really good through 4 seasons, and then the 5th season it just got really weird. And I'm like, I wonder if they ran out of comic book content at the end of the 4th season, and they're like, let's just try to expand on this, and then they fucked the dog, and that's why the show stopped.
Like literally?
I don't think they literally fucked a dog.
I thought that was like a situation.
Have you never heard that saying?
Screw the pooch?
Screw the pooch, fuck the dog, jump the shark.
Yeah, jump the shark, yes.
Yeah.
Screw the pooch just means like everything was going fine and then you just botched it.
Yep, you wrote a 5th season.
Jump the shark in particular is for a TV show where like you're so out of ideas that you just go so ridiculous that like nothing beyond that will ever be the same.
Fair enough. I always just assume that they all kind of meant the same.
True origin of Jump the Shark?
No.
The literal?
No.
Oh, there is an episode of Happy Days where Fonzie jumps over a shark on water skis.
I feel like you're joking.
I swear to God, it is the literal origin of the term.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, did you know that there's a Fonzie statue in Milwaukee?
I did know that, yes.
I don't think I've ever seen it on purpose. Accidentally driven past it a couple times, but
I sat near him at a restaurant in L.A. last year.
Is he nice? I mean, I guess I assume that you met him. I assume that you guys know everybody.
Speak, but he is known to be very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, but he's such a dork.
Wow.
Like you look at his like he's so wholesome.
Yeah.
And like such a dad, but he was the pinnacle of cool for a generation.
Well, what's it? Yeah, 74 to 84. Okay.
Yeah, that was one of those shows, and I did the same thing with the Wonder Years, where growing up, I thought I was looking at reruns of a contemporary sitcom.
Yeah.
Like I thought Happy Days was from the 50s, and it was just like Roseanne was to the 90s.
Yeah, yeah. Can you say that name?
I'm saying the name of the show, not the name of the person.
Fair enough.
She has been officially canceled, yeah.
Yeah, I saw Marilyn Manson was canceled as well. Which, who's surprised by that one?
After seeing his performance in American Gods, not me. And also, just like who is surprised?
There's so it's just like his shtick was being satanic and being this absurd human being. Like there was the documentary that they put out with For the Record, his first 2 albums I think are very good. Third one's not bad, but that's music. And here's the thing: is where's the differentiation between the person and the music? I really like the band Decapitated. There at one point where the entire band was accused of raping 2 girls. Well, it turns out that the girls had lied, and it's like, well, I really like these albums. Like, how do I? And they're from a different country, so they were like held in Oregon on charges and stuff. And while they did all that shit, anyways. But it's like, where do you draw the line? Like, I'm getting a little away from the point I wanted to make, but it's like, where do you draw the line? Like, is the music okay even though the person is a horrible human being?
Right. And yeah, I made a comment last year how I was trying to watch some movie and Kevin Spacey was in it and it totally ruined it for me.
Yep. I think we
and actually. One guy I know was like, separate the art from the artist. And
that's true.
I was like, are you able to watch The Naked Gun and you see O.J. Simpson and you forget the fact that he killed his wife and a waiter? Like there are there's a threshold of like now where I really struggle is with Roman Polanski, because Chinatown is pretty much a perfect movie.
Yeah.
And it was not long after that I mean, he raped a young girl.
Mm-hmm.
The movie is so perfect, and he plays a bit part in it that's like really iconic. And that's the one I struggle with the most, where it's just and inside you try to rationalize it, where it's like, well, he made that before that happened.
Yeah,
I don't
before that happened, but
like
that
his
doesn't mean
movies after,
he
but
didn't do it
he
then.
same human.
Yeah. And that's kind of a think of how many people do the same type of shit that aren't famous that you never hear about. The only reason that
Yeah,
you know about it is because he's famous or whatever. And
yeah,
but
right.
back to my original point is the fact that Marilyn Manson's big thing was being this like absurd shitlord. And there's the documentary that they put out with Antichrist Superstar, and I'm fairly certain at one point you see him take his dick out and start trying to fuck someone in his band on stage. And it's like, so this is the human being, and now you're all of a sudden surprised that he turned into a junkie, which I'm sure he had drug problems when this started. And then when you become that famous, everything is given to you, everything's readily available. And it's like, and now this stuff's coming out. How is anyone surprised by any of this?
Right. Like, our parents all tried to vilify him when
My
he
dad
was
had
at his peak.
my dad had a shit fit because I owned a Marilyn Manson t-shirt.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then we're like, well, it's a persona.
Yeah.
But then you find out, like, oh, he's a problem.
Yeah. Usually the persona and the real human, the line's pretty blurred there at some points. Like the persona is somewhat rooted in reality, I think, in a lot of
Oh, yeah.
ways. Like especially,
Yeah, it's exaggerated.
Yeah, like especially wrestling gimmicks. That's a good one where these people, and I feel like it's usually like The Miz. Obviously, you watched MTV's Real World.
Yeah.
Did you really never watch it? Okay, fair enough. There's
I
nothing
did
wrong
not.
with that. Okay, so there was a guy on The Real World whose name is Mike, and when you get drunk, he'd become The Miz. All he wanted to do was become a professional wrestler. Well, he is now, and has been for my understanding, 10, 15 years, been The Miz in WWE. And that's his drunken persona, is what he plays on TV every week.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like, all these people, they just like had, and obviously it's not 100% the way every time, but it's like a lot of these people just like had an idea of something that might be funny, and it's like an extension of their personality, and now that's the character that they play.
Sure.
I also recently learned that sometimes Vince McMahon's just like, this is what you're gonna do, and they're just like, I want a paycheck, so okay. But and that's why I think a lot of that shit it comes from some real place.
It does, and it puts such an unfair burden on the fans.
Yeah.
Every time something like this happens, where, like, I mean, these Manson allegations are absolutely terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the one I always think of is Louis C.K.
Yep.
Where everything that was in that New York Times article was something I had already heard. I had already heard every single one of those things, like that he would just pull his dick out backstage at a comedy club, and
but
for
so
some reason,
and I only know so much about what he did. Obviously, I knew about the dick stuff, but it's like two questions actually. Do you know about this stuff because you're in the area and you're in that entertainment circle? Like, I had never heard of any of that until it came out.
I didn't hear about it professionally.
Mm-hmm.
I heard about it tangentially as a fan of the Opie and Anthony show.
Okay.
Where you did get very much inside comedy, and there is, so Harvey Weinstein I knew about because of a school professor telling me a very specific story about a very big star who, as far as I know, has not been officially associated with all that.
Yeah.
So this was that whole thing was something I knew since like 2002. So when all of his stuff came out, I was like, yeah,
about time.
I knew that. So it was kind of the same with Louis C.K. Like, I had heard it, and then somehow it being in print, like, I mean, I should have been outraged just by hearing about it, but for some reason, when it was published was when it was like, I cannot like that person anymore.
Yeah.
And the Kevin Spacey rumors were going on for a decade.
But here's the other thing is, as a result of all the truth allegations, whatever you want to refer to it as, it has stemmed like this a lot of false accusations just to be in the limelight and to ruin people. And I think that
Yeah.
is what do you mean?
I mean, there's no way to know how many are true and how many are false.
And I'm not saying like Harvey Weinstein, someone said something false. I'm talking about like someone who, like, back to my earlier statement about the band that decapitated, that girl
Mhm.
made something up, got them arrested, never charged, just to be in the news. And I think that
Yeah.
is kind of a problem because she's capitalizing on something really fucking bad that has happened to other
Yeah.
people. And that I think that's just as deplorable as, Louis C.K. whipping his dick out, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, it's a different level, different degree, but it's like, this is now the truth of the reality that we live in.
It is. It's. I mean, that's the thing. Burden of proof is on the accuser, but
Yep.
in these cases of very, very wealthy people, it's too easy for them to silence it
Mm-hmm.
or get a lawyer to not prove that it's wrong, but prove that they're unable to prove that it's right.
Mm-hmm. It's a weird time to be alive. Sorry, I was just
Yeah.
eating candy orange slice in my mouth, but yeah, it's odd to think like I've had discussions like if my life had gone the trajectory in which I wanted it to, where I would be a quote unquote famous musician,
Mhm.
where would that have landed me? Because when I started doing
I
this, I was on MySpace. No one really had a cell phone. No one really took pictures of stuff. Not that I ever like did anything. Like, I've always been very
Mhm.
respectful because I'm a fucking very weird person. Like, if I like a girl, I'm very awkward. I like the fact that I got married is amazing. Like, I think the stars just aligned and she saw the charm. But it's like, if I'm trying to achieve a goal, which is fornication with a woman, like, I
Yeah.
am the opposite of smooth. Um, and I've had this conversation with friends of mine, and it's like, when I have nothing to lose, like, apparently I'm a very charismatic human being and I can smooth talk ladies because there's nothing's gonna happen.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. Because we were up in Door County's the finger of Wisconsin, and there's like
Yeah.
a beer fest we would go to, and there's this girl who's very clearly drunk, and my friend JR is like, I think she's into you. And I'm like, okay, like, I don't give a shit. And then I just kept talking to her, and she like kept trying to hang out with us. And he goes, dude, you're fucking smooth. And I'm like, okay, like, I have nothing,
Yeah.
no interest in this. So I just wish I would
The
have been able
stakes
to.
have to be taken away. Yeah.
Yeah, so I wish I would have been able to channel that back in the day. But the point being is, like, what could have come out, what could have been said,
Sure.
and it's just kind of like a weird, scary thing. And it's like, we have a friend of mine knows a lot of people in like the Minneapolis music scene, and a lot of shit came up about like local musicians or people who like kind of made it on a regional level. There was like a huge list of people that had done shit, and it's just like, fuck, man. Like, I don't want to say like no one's safe because you shouldn't be doing that stuff, but it's still just like, this is
Well,
this is a problem.
we call cameras idiot magnets
Mm.
because there's this desire to, and so you kind of see it whenever a celebrity dies, is that people try to associate themselves with tragedy,
Yep.
where it's like, I was just watching his movie last night, or I met him once 12 years ago. Um, where so filming in New York is really tough because everything's you're borrowing everything. Like when you've permitted a street, it's just like, well, this is New York. You can't tell me not to walk down my own street.
Right.
So, you pay the city for a permit and you're allowed to stop traffic and pause foot traffic until the camera stops rolling. Then you let everybody through. And I would venture to say everybody who needs to walk down that street or doesn't need to walk down that street knows exactly what's going on.
Right.
They know that they're going to be held up for 10, 15, 30 seconds, maybe a minute and a half if it's a big take. But they're going to go anyway because they want to be spoken to by somebody from a movie crew. because they want to have the story later. Like, yeah, some movie person told me I couldn't walk down my own block. So you know what I said to him? I said, "This is fucking New York," and and everybody has that story. They just want to be spoken to by somebody with a headset.
That's
Because
weird. Like, I think that's a very New York thing. Like,
it
um,
is.
I.
Because LA, they don't give a shit. And
What do you mean?
if
Like, the people don't give a shit about waiting 30,
the
60
people don't give
days?
a shit about, well, first of all, they're also not walking anywhere.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, like, traffic might be blocked, but LA, it's such a primary industry of LA that, like, a street closure is totally normal
Okay.
and you don't even notice it. You just drive around. If you're shooting in, say, Wisconsin or something, it's probably big enough news
Yeah. Like when
that
they shot Public Enemies here, people like drove down to wherever it was filmed just to be there.
people were excited,
Yeah.
and the production probably had the full support of the area,
Yeah.
where it was like, hey, we're gonna spend a lot of money at your restaurants, and it was like a good partnership. And yeah, people might do some photo ops, they might pull some locals to be extras, but then in New York, it's just like you want them there, but you don't want them there, and you just like they want to touch the hot stove, kind of. And and I think that like desire to be touched by some perception of fame, and it's not fame.
Right.
A production assistant who's saying, "Sir, you can't go here." That's not fame, but they are on the other side of a wall,
Right.
and it's a very, fortunately, very discriminatory, hard wall to cross. Just because everybody thinks they want to do it, it's horrible.
Well, and I feel like what you do is like it's cool to me because it's the complete polar opposite of what I do. But
Right.
if it were my job and that was the thing that I did, 40, sometimes it sounds like you work 100 hours a week. Like it probably wouldn't be as fun. Um,
It's it gets old real fast.
yeah.
Um, but I mean, I still do feel magic if I step onto a soundstage, even a completely empty one.
Yeah.
You can just tell that there's magic there. But yeah, when you're starting out, I mean, you're not making a lot of, like, as a PA, you might make $100 or $150 a day. That's spread over 16 or 18 hours. And then you get a few hours to go home and go to sleep. And then you come back and do it again for 6 days that week.
Yeah.
Like one night on my first job, I slept in Grand Central Terminal because I missed the last train out.
That sounds
And then
dangerous.
it was. It was. I can't even remember if I slept inside or if I was on the fucking steps.
Jesus.
I might have slept on the steps, but it was only for a couple of hours because I had to be back so goddamn early.
Yeah.
And it's hard. I mean, people have died. A guy I know worked on the set of The Lone Ranger with newly canceled Army Hammer, and he was leaving set really late one night, and then, if I'm telling the story right, he suddenly woke up in a helicopter being airlifted because he fell asleep at the wheel and pretty much broke his spine.
Holy fuck.
Like, it's dangerous. It's really bad conditions, but
Yeah.
everything takes so goddamn long, and it's got to be so perfect, and it's just become the norm.
Isn't that kind of a problem though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I don't know how to fix it, and so many people have written, op-eds on, you got to shorten the day, but that means it
Well,
will cost more money to make something,
right. Let's say the more
and
days it
nobody wants to
costs.
hear that.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
because sit through the credits of any movie, there are like 200 names. Like, each of those people had to make a living.
Yeah.
There's no one, like, except for when, like, Clooney cost $40 million to be in a movie. There's not a fan, are you?
Yeah.
There's no one thing that costs a lot.
Well, it
It's
sounds like
just spread
something.
over so many humans and so many hours of labor and so many pieces of equipment, so many permits and so much insurance
Yeah. That's the
that
stuff that I
like
don't think people think about.
it's not. And that's the thing that the New Yorkers, as they're walking down, 19th Street and somebody tells them to stop, they think, oh, this kid's getting $400 today to tell me I can't walk into my own apartment building. We're like, they're not eating prime rib. Like, I've budgeted commercials, you have to build in meals for each crew member.
Oh God.
And it usually works out to what I call 5, 10, 15, where it's $5 for
Breakfast?
breakfast,
Yeah.
10 for lunch, 15 for third meal if we run into that. A $5 breakfast
What does $5
for
get you
like
for breakfast in New York?
if
Toast and
you're
water?
like you could get an egg and cheese on a roll and maybe a coffee. Now, ideally, you're telling this number to a caterer. You're like, I
Yeah.
have $5 a head for breakfast, and they're doing it in such bulk
Yeah.
that like it's pretty good. But that's not a lot of money, and you're also not scrimping because times the number of people times the number of shoot days.
Well, how many?
So yeah, it's
So for an average movie, how many shoot days would there be?
like 40
40. Okay.
for like a full budget movie, 40 for a low budget movie. Like Curse of Buckout Road was probably shot in 21 days,
Yeah.
probably 22 days. It was probably like 5-day week, 6-day week, 5-day week, 6-day week.
Huh. Interesting.
And then Avengers might have taken like 100.
Yeah, but how much of that is computer animation?
Well, it's still like principal photography might have been 100 days, and then computer animation might have been literally a year
Yeah.
of
Fuck that, man.
50 animators at computers for 12 hours a day, if they're lucky,
Yeah.
making a living wage.
But still, that's the other thing, and it's like, yeah, it's fun. It's fun to do something on your own free time that you enjoy, but when you're pressed and you have deadlines and someone's hovering over you asking when it's going to be done, that's when it stops being fun.
Right. And of course, that's the dream. It's like, yeah, I'll PA on a few movies and, just use my spare time to write. You don't have any spare time.
Right.
And then as soon as it wraps, you're hustling for the next job.
Right. Yeah, because you get paid by the day. If you're not working, you're not making money.
Yeah. Yep. And that's why I switched to the network side.
Yeah.
It's like a salary and you still deal with the shit, but you're hiring the people that deal with those things and you have a desk that you sit at from 10 to 6.
Yeah.
And then when it's an actual shoot day, you go to that.
How many days a week do you shoot?
Well, I mean, I only work on promos and commercials at this point. So those are usually a 1-day shoot.
Okay.
But an episode of The Walking Dead, I think, is usually 10 shoot days
Oh wow.
times 16
Yeah.
episodes. Even though it's split into two half seasons of 8, they usually go straight from July to about Thanksgiving
Okay.
and shoot every day. You get into a thing called Fratter where so you start your day really early on Monday and do all your day stuff, and then as the week progresses, like say whatever time you finish shooting on Monday, you need to leave a certain number of hours before you can shoot on Tuesday, so that you're not putting people in physical danger of not getting enough sleep. So Tuesday starts a little later, Wednesday starts a little later, Thursday and Friday are when you do your night stuff because now you're starting at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
And then there's this awful thing called Fratter where you start on Friday and you end like midday Saturday,
Mm.
and then you have Sunday off.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not pleasant.
So yeah, it sounds like a fucking weird work schedule.
It is.
Yeah.
You can't make plans.
That's that would drive me nuts. That's the sole reason that I got an office job. Is like I know Monday through Friday till about
Yeah.
4 or 5 o'clock. I can't make plans.
You know where you're going to be.
Yep.
Any day.
Yep.
Like before I worked at the network, it would be like, can you hang out Thursday? I was like, well, what's today? Tuesday? Maybe. I'll tell you middle of tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah, it stinks. I'm no good at anything else though. And
Well,
there's nothing else I'd rather be doing.
and that's the thing. I feel like you put in the time doing shitty shit to get to the point where you're at, and it sounds like you're happy where you're at.
I am. Not every day is perfect, and some of the problems you deal with are just asinine. And you got to remind not only yourself, but everybody around you that, like, let's think about what it is we're making here.
Right.
We are not curing cancer,
No.
is the go to line. It's like, we are not curing cancer here.
Hmm. Which it's very true. I mean,
Slow down.
wow.
Now, there's a lot of money at stake. If a sponsor has bought commercial time and for some reason something you did causes that commercial not to be able to air, that's a very, very big problem.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of the universe, no, it's not.
No,
But
but
in terms of commerce, yeah, that's no good.
yeah. People like their money a lot.
Yeah, people want to get what they paid for.
Yeah. So in the event that something like that happens, what do you just refund the person who bought the time, or?
Yeah, or you pay it back in kind. You do a make good
Oh, okay. I didn't know if
where
you could
it's
just
like,
like, hey, we'll just put it
well,
in here instead.
you kind of can, but then they'll be like, well, that show doesn't have as many viewers. So you're like, okay, we'll put it in 2 episodes of that other show.
Yeah.
And that's that. I don't think I've ever had something not air, but that's what would happen. Or some networks, if they're guaranteed a certain number of viewers and they don't get that many viewers,
Oh.
then there's some kind of a make good where they've it's called ADUs, that's audience deficiency units. And they're like, you told us there would be 5 million viewers, there were only 4 million, so that equals this much more time from another episode. And the network's
Oh.
like, all right,
Huh.
which means they can now not sell that time to another sponsor and they're missing out on money.
Yeah. Huh. That's all shit that I, as a person just watching TV, I never think about.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
And I mean, you ever notice the commercial break starts, but you didn't realize it started because that first commercial kind of looks like the show you were watching?
Yeah.
That's,
I'm sure
I
it's on
apologize.
purpose.
That's what I do.
Oh, that's fine. So one of the nice things, I pointed this out to Alyssa not that long ago. We were watching football, and it was ESPN, so it was like before the games even started. And now on ESPN, when a commercial starts, there's a timer in the bottom left corner, and it says, "We'll be back in this amount of time." Oh, that's
That's
kind of
nice.
cool.
And
Yeah,
the internet did that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because the internet now tells you how much of an ad you have left, and people are willing to wait 3 times as long if they know how long they have to wait.
Yeah, but I wish I could just skip it. Like
Oh,
I don't like when YouTube, like, you can skip certain ads, you can not skip others,
not
and
skip certain other ones.
that that's the advertiser is paying more for the ability to not skip.
Yes.
I get that, but it's like, fuck. And I also don't like where they just.
Sorry, everybody. If Erika edited all that out, all my stuff just crapped out for no reason.
Yeah. I mean.
And by the way, the product we were trying to remember the name of?
Yeah.
Combos.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
I don't know why I just Google combos. I know what they are. When have you ever had a combo with an olive in it?
I didn't, but like there's something that looks like combos.
Okay.
You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
No part of me ever, like, combos didn't even come to mind.
No.
I do love combos though. So many flavor.
I've never had one.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't know.
Huh.
Probably wasn't allowed when I was a kid.
I don't even know what to say to you right now. They're good. Like, I don't want to I don't want it to sound like I think they're God's gift to snacks, but now I can see you.
Oh, good.
Like
Do you hear the tapping?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously some that are much better than others. The 7-layer dip tortilla ones I think are really good because there's like cornmeal on them.
Sounds like there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, I mean, your pepperoni pizzas, your original, and then there's cheddar cheese. Yeah, I feel like it's weird. Like they just don't really make new ones. Like every once in a while, a new one comes out, but I think like spicy honey mustard's new. It just came out. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I imagine. I wouldn't think they'd have made any in a long time.
Why not though? Like
I don't know. Are they still popular?
I mean, I still get them once in a while. Very seldom am I like, man, I could really go for a combo. But normally, if I see a new flavor of combo, like I will get it.
Hang on, I should tell the group chat so they know.
Oh, so what happened that you figured it out?
I asked my friend Mark, and he texted me back finally.
Oh man.
Yeah, he was like, combos?
Wow. I mean, so breadstick is not like that far off.
No, right? Tubular breadstick with a filling in it?
Yep. No, the description was good. It's just I don't know why I didn't think about combos.
I've been I do those Jackbox games sometimes with some friends. And there's a pretty new one called Blather Round. And when you start, you pick like a thing you're going to need to describe.
Mm-hmm.
And then your friends have to type in what they think it is. They can't even like select from a list. And you keep submitting like sentences that describe it.
Mm.
And the sentences are pre-written, but you fill in 2 blanks where like it's descriptors and sometimes you can like reference the guesses they've made where it's like it's the same genre as Toy Story, which so and so suggested. I got so goddamn good at it, and I think it's because my dad's verbal skills have declined.
Oh.
And like his mind is all there, but he just can't get the words out.
Yeah.
So like he's like trying to get there, and it's just such a ridiculous path of descriptions that when I play this game, I'm like, oh yeah, you're talking about Shawshank, and all they said is like, there's a part on the roof.
That's any number of things. I have a couple friends will play Jackbox on Discord actually, and then we all drink at the same time.
I've wanted to. It's just like you kind of need the people to be funny.
And that's the thing. Like I actually met 2 of these guys just through trading beer. So it's like we're all. I mean, some people are funnier than others. But what happens when I get drunk is I usually just play what I think is funny, and I'm not because like I think part of being good at Jackbox is playing into what the people you're playing with find funny. That's the same thing with Cards Against Humanity. It's like you have to know the humor of the people around you to do it that way. And I always just end up doing what I think is funny, and then I end up doing really bad because I have a twisted, dark sense of humor. Yeah,
and there's a degree to which it's kind of like darts, where there's a curve to like the proportion between how much you've drunk and how good you are. Where before and after that you're terrible, but when you're in that zone you're perfect. But the biggest, we play with the same people every time, so like we know what's gonna hit. Yeah, like 80%. Sometimes it's just dud. But thing with a new person, like you need 3 rounds to figure out like, are they okay with sexual stuff? Are they okay with cursing? Are they okay with like Nazi jokes? Some people are and some people aren't.
Sorry, Amazon just got here. 9 o'clock on a Saturday night. Yeah.
Although I guess like they do tell me sometimes it'll arrive by 9 o'clock.
Yeah. We've had stuff show up like just before 10. Like I've been going to bed on a weeknight and a package shows up. Like, thanks, Amazon.
The thing they do now, it drives me crazy. Like, I'll get out of the shower and have the notification like, your Amazon delivery person needs to talk to you about your delivery. And I'm like, fuck.
Do you call them and go, you'll have to speak up, I'm wearing a towel?
No, always what happens is then I get to the chat and it's like, I left it on the front step. Have a good day.
Oh, see,
Like, oh,
I'm assuming it's by you too, but now they take a picture of where they put it.
they do that like 1 in 5 times here
Oh,
for some reason.
yeah. My favorite part
But
is when the dogs are barking and the guy's standing there taking a picture of where he sent my package. Like, we all know you're here.
Yeah. My building has like 200 units, so they might be dropping off 40 or 50 things at a time. So I understand if they're not sitting there taking a picture of everything.
Just set them all down and take a picture of the entire pile.
That should be an option.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that makes more sense, I guess. I understand the picture taking, especially in your situation.
Yeah. Stuff tends to walk away.
Yeah, that happens everywhere. Luckily, I mean, we have cameras, so you can't take my shit. I mean, you can. I just won't. I'll have a video footage of you doing so.
Well, right. That's like with all the video, all the security stuff we do for like sharing episodes and everything. We can't prevent somebody from leaking stuff. All we can do is guarantee we're going to know who did it.
Yeah, that's one thing I feel like you probably understand. But in IT, it always blows my mind when someone does something and then they don't admit it. And it's like, I can very easily prove what you've done here.
Yeah.
Everything you do on a computer is monitored and logged, and your name's going to be all
right,
over
it's
everything.
Like, here's you typing in your password.
Yep. Yeah, just fucking whatever.
I'd love to show you things, but it has my name watermarked across it.
Yeah, I mean, don't do that.
If it shows up on the internet, it's like, who is this Kevin Howard fellow? Why did he just choose to lose his job?
So, I guess on that, I don't know how much you can or can't say. I'm not really asking specifics, but it's like, so if you have a version of an episode, your name is watermarked on it?
Yeah. Huh. It's dynamically watermarked. So I log into a software that watermarks.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm on a list of recipients, so if anybody else logs in, they won't see that it's there.
Oh.
But like I open the app and I go to the inbox and it's like show name, show season, episode 1016, version 5.
Yeah.
So like if you watch an early enough version, like special effects will still be partial. Like you'll see somebody like not holding anything, swing their arm, and then there's just white text that shows up that's like insert sword. So it's hilarious. And there's one, I forget what show it was, but it was like a crane shot and you saw the skyline and it just said remove Toronto. Wow. Like you could, it was supposed to take place, Florida or something, and you could see like landmarks of Toronto. It just said remove Toronto.
That's fucking hilarious. I guess though, makes sense. Like we talked, this movie was shot. You said what, in South America or something weird?
Yeah, it was. It was like Sudbury, Canada.
Oh, Canada.
And then the weirdest thing, I looked up something else. And it was shot in the exact same town. Like I was looking up something else the exact same day.
Maybe they have tax credits or incentives to film there,
which is a big deal.
Oh yeah, well it's a Canadian, so this is a Canadian movie. I did not know that.
And I didn't do any. I apologize, Erika. I'm killing the spirit of the show, just knowing nothing about the production of this thing.
Yeah, this is filmed in Greater Sudbury.
Sudbury, okay. What the hell else was I looking at? Sudbury, Ontario, Canada.
Sudbury.
Letterkenny.
Oh. Okay.
Is filmed there.
Interesting.
Like I think it is Letterkenny, the original X-Men.
Oh wow. The
Yeah, so it's like a
silencing.
go-to place. But I was really disappointed because, like, even if the movie stunk, it would be like, oh, I went to high school near there.
Um. Wow. So okay, Letterkenny was filmed there. The Silencing, the new Resident Evil, first X Men, some TV show called Slasher, Bad Blood, Cardinal, The Captive. There's a fucking list, a massive list of stuff that was filmed in Sudbury.
Which, what is it? Is it like a suburb of Toronto? I gotta look this place up. It's a funny name.
Yeah,
Like, I wonder how the
143
beer
things
is
have been
there.
filmed. Sudsy. Yeah, I wonder why. I mean, it's not
Wow,
far.
even Google Maps looks different there.
It's just poutine.
It is. You would only have to cross one bridge to get there, Matt.
Really?
Yeah, you just go up and to the right, and Sudbury
Oh
is.
wow, it is really close. I mean, I say really, that's probably still like a good 7 hours,
It would probably take you and me the same amount of time to drive there.
probably.
Like if we both left our houses and went like
It's it sounds like we have a
this,
new middle ground meeting place. 8 hours and 42 minutes for me to get there. It is
and
504
oddly, it's
miles,
probably the most convenient place for us to meet.
probably. Well, I think the other option is Ohio. Fuck that.
No, we're not doing that.
Have you ever been to Ohio? Place sucks.
I've been through Ohio. That is a long state. It does
Yeah.
not look long on a map.
Uh, it is actually. Yeah, I've been Columbus and Cleveland. Oh, it's 11 and a half hours from Brooklyn.
That's not bad.
What do you mean that's not bad?
I could leave now, meet you there in time for church tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I could take a 2 hour nap and then probably still meet you there in time for church tomorrow. Huh. Yeah, I mean, you have to go through Buffalo. It's probably snowing there. Is it ever
Oh
not?
yeah, there's like a winter storm warning here tomorrow.
Oh, really? Okay. It's like, is there ever not a snowstorm in Buffalo? Oh, lake
For
effect snow?
Brooklyn, there's a storm warning.
Fuck that. How much snow do you guys normally get throughout the year?
I would say it averages out to about a foot, like across the entire winter.
That's not that bad.
Sometimes two, but it's not like. But what'll happen is there'll be one huge storm
Yeah.
and 6 or 7 small ones.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Oddly enough, this snowstorm was the first one of the year, which normally January is pretty snowy and cold.
Yeah, it's kind of late.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was 3 years ago we got 2.5 feet of snow in April
Oof,
in one weekend.
Jesus.
It was like 40 and raining on Friday, and then that switched to snow, and then it snowed until Sunday night.
God.
That sucked.
So besides Danny Glover, how many of the actors in this movie were you even familiar with?
0.
There were 2 others that I knew.
Okay.
One is Colin Fior, and he was the priest. I don't even know what you would know him from.
I'm looking.
He's just one of those people like.
Oh, he was in
Like
Iron
he was on
Eagle
House of
too.
Cards.
I was kidding. I just read the second movie that he was in and made it sound like I knew.
Henry.
Oh, he
Oh,
was
what
in,
did you?
I said he was in Iron Eagle too. He was in The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which I've seen that. I don't remember him in it. Pearl Harbor.
Was he in that? Or are you looking at? Wait, are you
It was
looking at Colin
Wikipedia.
Fior?
Yeah.
Or yeah, he was.
Okay.
Yeah,
Had
he
to
was like the
double check.
vice president on either House of Cards or Homeland, I think.
I never watched either of those shows. I mean,
He's one of those like, oh yeah, that guy.
he's been
But
in
then
a
there's
lot.
Henry Czerny, who's a guy I love because of only one movie, and he's like the G-man in the original Mission Impossible movie.
Oh,
So he's the one who suspects Tom Cruise is the mole.
Oh.
So he's the antagonist, but he's not the villain.
Okay.
And he talks really weird.
Weird.
And he was on that show Revenge with I forget her name. But like he usually plays a wealthy guy in some job of authority.
Madeline Stowe from Revenge.
No, the younger girl.
Emily Van Camp.
Yes,
Okay.
from Everwood.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this Henry fellow was also in The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which I didn't know. And he's in
Oh,
Mission
that's weird.
Impossible
I
7.
guess they had something to talk about on this.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, that was big news. Um, Shortly before lockdown, I think Christopher McQuarrie tweeted, "The past never stays buried" or something like that, with a picture of Henry Czerny. And
Oh,
I don't know about you, but I lost my fucking mind.
I think I've seen Mission Impossible 1 and 2. I have not seen many of the other ones. Like I've really wanted to, and I just never did.
Yeah, they're good.
I don't know, man. I still want to watch all the. I haven't seen all the Fast and the Furious movies. I haven't seen all the Expendable movies. Like those action movies, I just can't. Like I still haven't watched Tenet.
Eh.
And that's the thing. Like a lot of people are like, nah, but it's like I kind of just want to see it to see it.
I mean, in the theater, you're experiencing Tenet, and you say, "Wow, if I had subtitles for this, this would be the greatest movie of all time because I would be able to understand what they're talking about." But then you watch it at home with subtitles, and you're like, "This isn't very good," because the
Yeah.
audio mix is like intentionally muddy.
Well, and that's the thing. Have you seen John Wick 3?
Yeah, Parabellum.
Yeah, I feel like there's maybe 25 words in the entire movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm sure there's more, but it's like there was the gunshots. I think were 5-1 to words, and it's like that's what I wanted though. I don't give a shit about people talking.
Oh, it's perfect.
I don't really want a story. Like I just want to watch.
No, you walk into John Wick, you know what the fuck movie you're gonna see. You
Yeah.
want the same as last time, but cooler.
Yep.
And not different, but also different.
Isn't the fourth one supposed to come out in May? Or did it get pushed back?
I think it would have if it weren't pushed back, but I don't even know if.
Well, and that's the thing. Like everything's all weird now. Oh, 2022. I think it's May of.
Oof,
Yeah, May 27th, 22. It may have always been that day, to be honest.
It may have.
Oh, the trailer just came out 3 weeks ago.
It's probably a teaser.
Trailer number 1.
We tend to do that.
Oh, you bastards.
Where it's just like clips from previous shit.
Yeah.
And a title reveal.
I saw the oh, get the fuck out of here. I just realized this. So they named The Matrix 4.
Yes.
Do you know what
Isn't it just called Matrix?
No. Matrix 4 Resurrections.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Guess what John Wick 4 is called? Resurrection. That's very disappointing in my opinion.
Do you think it'll still be called? Because that kind of happened with so that Bruce Willis movie, Tears of the Sun.
Okay.
I think Tears of the Sun was the original title of like Die Hard 4.
Oh.
And he asked them to put the title on the other movie. So I bet not both of these will be called that.
I hope not. God. I mean, I saw that The Matrix Resurrections is what it's called.
Erika, I gotta take a pee, so cut here.
I like how you talk to her. Like she's.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm probably gonna be the one that edits this, but that's.
Oh, Matt, this is your out point. I'm gonna go pee.
All right, man.
Be right back. Jesus, that was like the piss after I saw Avatar.
What? What does that even mean?
It took a really long time.
Oh, it's fine. So apparently, the title was leaked. So I guess it would make perfect sense that if they end up not keeping it,
which
Matrix.
One will it not be? Matrix.
Yeah. Leaked Matrix title may reveal plot details. Whereas it seems like John Wick 4, they released a trailer stating it was going to be called Resurrection.
Huh.
Yeah, either way. Have you met Keanu Reeves?
No.
I hear he's a nice guy.
I hear he's great. I mean, he always does the hover hand when he's meeting a female fan.
I never noticed. Have you ever seen Knock Knock?
I don't know that one.
It's like a weird horror movie with him where these two girls, like his wife goes away with their kid or something, and these two girls show up and then seduce him, and then when he has sex with them, then they then just torture him for cheating on his wife.
Jesus. Okay.
It's
Oh, it's got Ana de Armas. I like that actress.
I have no idea who that is by name.
She was in Knives Out and Blade Runner
Oh,
2049.
okay, okay.
Yeah, she's
Um,
great.
yeah. So my favorite part of the movie is they like have him tied up and he just screams, "It was free pizza," referring to them like throwing themselves at him. Yeah, dude, it's a fucking weird movie. I believe it's on
It was
Netflix.
free pizza?
Yeah, he may have
Does
actually
that
said it
mean?
was free
Yeah, it
fucking
is on
pizza.
Netflix. Like, is he saying like how was a human supposed to resist that?
Yeah, yeah. Like
Okay.
they basically were like, let's do.
Like it was low hanging fruit. I had to.
Yep.
Okay.
Apparently, they're making a John Wick 5 to be released in 2023.
Yeah, they're not going to stop.
No, why would they? A movie called there's a spin-off called The Ballerina. And
Is that about Maria Bello's character or no? Who did he go see in Egypt or Italy?
fuck.
Oh no. He goes to like the ballet house and gets the coin or
Yes.
something.
Yeah, he turns in his coin for safe passage because they want to. Yep.
Yeah, so it's about her. I'm
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
Who was it? Was that Angelica Houston? I want to say.
Yes. No, Angelica Houston is the director. But okay, so she was the director at the ballet house, but there was Unity Phelan is the ballerina. So I believe that what's going to happen is because there's that girl dancing on stage when they're talking in the
Right.
So I'm guessing that it'll be a movie about that girl and how she turns into. Huh.
Got it.
Yeah.
So basically, the movie Red Sparrow.
Yeah, which was not a bad movie.
It was long.
Okay, so did we talk about The Equalizer? The TV show?
I did not see The Equalizer, the Denzel one.
Okay, so it's a fine movie. It's
Okay.
basically a guy who kills people, and it's one of those things where it's like against all odds. And now they made that TV show with Queen Latifah, and they basically feminized the character's name and made a TV show. Now that's not my problem.
Okay.
My problem is
Which was originally a TV show, I want to say.
that I'm
in
not
like
sure
the
of.
70s, yeah.
But that would make sense. Do you find Queen Latifah as a believable like assassin?
No, I find her as like if I hear she's cast in that, I go, huh, all right. I think she's great. Like, well, is he a cop who then like extrajudiciously, like the people who got away with it, like he goes and evens out things by picking them off? I'm just
vigilante
guessing.
crime action thriller. Robert, a retired Marine, former Defense Intelligence Agency operative who faked his death after promising his now deceased wife he would leave his old life behind. So, kind of, yes. What the fuck did I see? In my Googling, I saw I have a hard time believing Queen Latifah is like a badass because I remember watching Living Single when I was like younger. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean she's actually done a couple of things where something's been adapted. Because she was the taxi driver in the American version of this French thing called Taxi from Luc Besson, the guy who did The Professional.
Okay.
And it's been remade not only in different countries but like multiple times in the US. Like there was a movie with like either Chris Kattan or Jimmy Fallon. I can't tell the difference. But there was also a series. And then the series might have been called Brooklyn Taxi.
Looking at her.
But she was in that, and like it's kind of the same thing. Like she's got a really, really big gun for some reason.
I forgot she was in. One episode of Entourage.
As herself?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, she was on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air too for a little bit. I don't see Taxi.
Maybe it didn't happen.
That's
Maybe it was gonna, and then it didn't. Oh, she's in Hairspray.
Man, I didn't realize how much stuff she's been in.
Yeah, she's prolific.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at her producer list.
Oh, Taxi was a movie.
It was, okay.
Yeah.
And who's the guy? Is it Jimmy Fallon or Chris Kattan?
Jimmy Fallon.
Look at that.
Oh, you're good. Yeah.
Yeah, like a cop needs to take a taxi for some reason.
I like. Sorry. So it just the first thing that came to mind was Stuber. So they just remade it in like modern day with an Uber driver instead of a taxi.
Yeah, exactly. And there's something else. Oh no, it was the other Dave Bautista thing, where he's like a babysitter or something. My Spy. Was that what it was called?
I like how he's listed as an American actor now, just because he's in Guardians of the Galaxy. Looking at.
I like him, man.
I have no problem with him.
Yeah.
I guess he's been in quite a bit.
He was underused in Spectre.
Still never seen it.
Yeah.
That's
Blade Runner. He's pretty cool.
still get to watch Blade Runner. they're so fucking long. What?
It's 2 hours and 40 minutes. There's no shame in not wanting to sit down and watch that.
It's even, and we've had kind of brief discussions about like, why is every movie now just have to be 2 hours long? Like, I welcome a 90-minute movie at this point.
Oh, I love a 90-minute movie.
Yep. Because I know 7 minutes of that are credits. So, what? Okay, so he was in way more movies than I expected him to be in. Dave Bautista.
Yeah, he's
Oh, My Spy.
Take it off.
Yeah,
that's the one.
it just came out too. I was looking like towards the beginning of his career. Nope, it's a 2020 jam right there.
Oh, I finally got your audio into my headphones.
What, did you change something or did it just start to work?
I tried something I had already tried, but I tried it again.
Oh, weird.
Oh, it's so much nicer. It's like I just cracked my back or something.
Oh, my I don't know what I did, but my neck and shoulder, the whole left side is like really sore and like achy. And I can't get it to crack to feel better, but I have a chiropractor on Monday, so I guess I'll just deal with it till then.
Oh, did I show you the videos? I think I sent you the videos when I was going down Buckout Road.
Yep. Yeah. Full circle. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've been doing this for like 2.5 hours, so I don't know what else you want to talk. I mean, obviously we could sit and talk all night, but
I mean, the movie was pretty boring.
Movie was not
I
good
gotta
at
say.
all.
And I mean, it was just one of those things where like somebody heard about something real and was like, I should make a movie about that.
Yep.
And I didn't understand the rules. Like, what were the rules? Because to follow Erika's warning of spoilers, so Henry Czerny's behind this every 5-year sacrifice.
Yeah.
But he needs like 5 people to kill themselves for it to work. But I don't know what happens if he doesn't do it.
And that's a detail that they never ever talk about that is kind of annoying.
Like, it just has to happen. It's not like the harvest won't be any good.
Right.
There's just no.
Well, it sounded like what's her face? Cleo makes that comment where if 5 people don't get sacrificed, then it comes. But what is it? And
what is it? And aren't they already being haunted by something?
Right. There's a lot of plot holes. Also, the computer animation is garbage in this movie.
Oh, you mentioned that. I was trying to remember like what actually happened
The
because
the
they
burning
do
scene. That's when I noticed it.
it's just like a flame alpha channel.
Yep. Yep. It'd be better if there was just someone like like taking two pieces of like red and orange paper, just like shifting them over each other.
I liked the girl who played Cleo.
Me too. Like I didn't. The acting wasn't bad in this movie.
No, it wasn't. Um, the the main kid, I don't know if I've ever seen him in anything.
Here's a weird question. What
Yeah,
nationality would you consider him to be?
I mean, I would call him African American.
So, and this is obviously there was a hard N dropped in the movie, which was a little strange when he breaks into the house and it's the guy from the colonial times. So
Oh yes, yes, yes,
apt
yes, yes,
for his time of existence, but it was like
yes.
I had thought that he was maybe mixed race, like a Latino and African American. So I was like, so for him to just drop a hard N seemed really weird because it's not like you know what I mean. Like that was the only reason I asked, and it's
Right.
because like you know that his
Well,
mom dies and you never really know who his dad is, so you know there's no. But for them to
right, and
use that word and not, you know, there's some ambiguity to what his nationality is. Like nitpicky. This is very nitpicky, but it's just like
sure,
it
sure, sure.
seemed like really weird to do that, especially now. Like maybe if this movie came out in the '90s. But to use that word
Yeah,
now, like I don't care that he was a
yeah.
colonial guy, it just didn't really need to be there.
I remember it not like it kind of hit me like you.
Yeah,
Um,
I had
I
to
guess
get,
the fact that he is Danny Glover's grandson tells you he's at least a quarter black for sure.
yes, but still,
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of rubbed me. I completely forgot about that.
I,
Cuz like
I'm pretty sure Alyssa and I looked at each other, just like, oh boy,
yeah, cuz it had the hard R.
yes,
Um
yeah. Like maybe deep down inside, that guy's been waiting to pull that one out for years, and he's like,
yes,
finally, I'm getting
exactly.
paid for it. Like that had force behind it.
They almost offered him the lead, but he was like, "No, I want to play the colonial guy."
I see. You get to say the N word. I'll take that. I'll take a
And
pay
in
cut.
the the scenes that took place in the 70s, like they
Those were
added a
also
terrible like iMovie
VHS.
film
Yeah.
scratch. It was so bad. But and sometimes like the girl in those flashbacks was Cleo and sometimes it was some other stranger
Did you know who
who
that
was
the girl was during the hand job scene? It's Katie from
no.
Letterkenny.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
Okay, so they hired local.
yeah, I'd play her butt like a trumpet. Maybe that was too graphic for the show. I don't
But
know.
that was the albino house and that's the one where you honk your horn
Three
out
times,
front.
yeah, yeah. So it's almost like they took bits and pieces of the variations of the story and were just like, well, fuck, make one movie. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Like instead of yeah, it didn't even like make it about the play. Like the dude just kept forgetting why he was writing this movie.
Right. Like I get the albino house and then the witches, and apparently the people in the albino house were the ones burning the witches, maybe. But still, like, were
Oh, I didn't
witches?
even get that.
Well, because the hard R guy is beating the shit out of the girl that is on the stake later or before. That's the only reason I picked it, and the only
Right.
reason that I realized that is because they're wearing the same thing.
Oh, but like
But at one
people
point,
would
Cleo's wearing the same thing too.
right because they dream themselves into the position of like
Yeah.
people, but you don't know are they like avataring into the original person or are they like embodying them and it's like was the what's his name like Corey Ross or something? Was he always the slave that got killed by the colonialist?
Oh, I see. I see what you're
But I don't think he was.
saying. Uh-uh.
Like I don't think it's that smart. And that's what I mean about not knowing the rules of this.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they would just dream things and possibly get hurt in their dreams, or they would be influenced to go kill themselves, or they actually became the person in history who died a certain way and that caused them to die. And this movie opened the way I hate how movies open, which is with a professor giving a lecture on a
About
thing
yeah.
that no professor would ever talk about.
Yeah.
Where it's like, what class were those people taking? Were they taking a class about urban legends and that week she was talking about Buckout Road? Or was she giving a class on like storytelling and that particular lesson was the urban legend one?
I mean, it could also be a local history class. Or it could be a history class.
Oh, that's true. That's true. She was at like the community college. Yeah.
But when what college is going to have a local history class? You're going to have a history class, and you're probably not going to talk about local history.
Well, not far from Buckout Road is WCK, which stands for Westchester Community College. And it is
Wait.
that was the classic joke growing up, is that it was WCK. No, it's actually WCC. Don't you worry.
Oh, okay.
But the reputation of WCC was that oh boy. So it is conceivable like she was teaching there.
Yeah.
And it was like one of those gimme classes.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's like, ooh, the local lore of Westchester.
So there's the UW school system. The one that I got my bachelor's degree from is called Stout, and the saying is, "When in doubt, go to Stout." Fucking, I did it because I could do it online from home because it's
nice.
It's over by Minnesota, so
right.
But I've never physically gone to the campus once. Didn't even attend my own graduation.
Wow.
Didn't want to. I said I'd only go once, and there's a good chance I'm going to get a master's, so I'll go to that one.
Are you going to do it? Did you get a master's?
I'm thinking about it. Work will pay for it.
Yeah.
Did we talk about this?
No.
Because I had asked I was talking to Erika about it, because I'm just like, work will pay for it. Do I just do it to do it? But like, what's my end game? I don't need it unless I would be like a director or a CIO, and I really have no intent. Like, at this point in my life, I have no intent of doing that.
The thought of more schooling makes me want to puke.
Yep.
And I mean, I have a fucking Bachelor of Fine Arts. It's not a real,
no.
Like.
But there's just a whole lot that goes into it. I don't think I would be able to continue tutoring and work and do school. Like, I don't know what the workload is for a master's, but if I do one class at a time, like,
it's a lot. And there's a thesis.
Yeah, I don't know about that, because when I can get a master's in the same thing I have my bachelor's in, and I remember people being in the classes with me, and there was like they just had to do, like, when we would write a paper, they would have to do 2 extra pages. Like,
is that all?
Yeah, it was just like little shit like that, where they would just have to do the same homework but a little different, or they would have to do the same project but just a little extra.
And what would the degree be in?
Information and communication technologies.
Okay.
So it's like a dumbed down version of computer science.
Right.
Yeah.
It might be nice to have.
Well, yeah, but why do we like to have a bachelor's and a master's in the same thing? Like, I could just go get a master's in business, like a real generic one. I have a master's.
Right. Like my mom still wants me to get. I have 2 Clios, and she still wants me to take like a business class just in case.
What the fuck is a Clio?
It's like an Emmy for commercials.
Oh, damn.
But like that wasn't enough for her to.
It makes
like,
me feel
maybe
better.
He is serious.
When I gave my dad a record, he listens. He goes, "Do you guys ever think about like maybe playing some covers?" I was just like, "Dad," I explained to him, I'm like, that passed. I said, "We're not. This is just for fun." He goes, "No," he goes, "That's fine. I just thought I'd ask." Fucking hate Dad.
The first time I brought a project home from film school, my dad fell asleep.
Oh man!
And this thing was like 55 seconds long. And like, I turned the lights back on and look, and he's just like a dad on a couch.
Yep.
And my mom is just like, he's very tired. And I pretty much never showed anybody anything I worked on ever again.
That's funny as shit,
Because I
man.
just realized nobody gives a shit.
No,
Especially
that's
now,
fair.
nobody wants to watch a commercial.
It depends on what it's for.
Yeah, but even like the coolest ones I've done, like it's still a commercial.
Yeah, but like, like obviously tomorrow's a Super Bowl. Like
That's true. Yeah.
but I don't think that there's as much involved in Super Bowl commercials anymore. Because last year didn't they
There's
play them
not.
all online before the game even happened?
That's the thing. Or like there's a preview of it.
Mhm.
I fucking hate Super Bowl commercials. That's the thing I say every year is there's always a shot of a news anchor at the desk explaining the premise where it's like they're saying that this thing is sweeping the nation
Yeah,
and they need like a news anchor to explain that, or it's just like, okay, this kind of makes sense, but now, oh, Arnold Schwarzenegger is here for no reason, and then someone else is too, and it's no longer a commercial; it's a press release.
right.
It's it's not the commercial itself; it's the story behind it, as opposed to me, where it's like, no, I looked at scripts and storyboards and then watched it come to life. And anybody want to see it? No, okay.
And
This consumed me for 8 weeks.
and that's like that's a different thing. That's the same like with personally me and music. And I was like, I
Yeah,
remember when I heard that first guitar part. And it's like, and then how it changed. And it's like when you spend so much time and you watch something from start to finish, it's like you're just proud of it regardless.
right.
I will gladly
Excuse me.
watch your TV commercials for what
I'll
it's
send
worth.
you a couple. Oh, I have to show you the Halloween one.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that was something we wanted to talk about when I wore the
Michael
real
Myers
Michael
mask.
Myers mask.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, like I was saying, like we call them DVR stoppers. Like we want you to think, oh shit, it's not a commercial. Gotta
Mm-hmm.
watch, because we've made that first few seconds look like it. So, like for Better Call Saul, it's like, oh, it's the desert of New Mexico. This Walking Dead one, Universal wanted like something really integrated for Halloween, and we had done one for Neighbors 2 with Fear the Walking Dead, where like we had Seth Rogen and Zac Efron killing a zombie, and but at the end, so Seth Rogen and his people actually wrote it. We had a script, and we were gonna do that when we were shooting on a Sunday. It was the day of the MTV Movie Awards, so we knew where Zach and Seth were gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we will shoot it there. They just have to like step out of wherever they're prepping for the movie awards, and they're like, yeah. Seth's looking at the script. He's making a few tweaks, and then Friday night at like 6:05, we get a completely brand new script, and it's ridiculously ambitious. Like our original one was like they're in their trailer, they've run out of munchies, and they're arguing over who has to go out because they're afraid like it's zombies for some reason because they've been sitting there watching Fear the Walking Dead on their TV.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what came back was what I just described. Seth and Zach have a zombie tied to a chair, and then they kill it. And it's like, well, we have to make it. That's what
Right.
they want to make.
Right.
We have 36 hours to do this. And so one of the rules is zombies are not real. So in none of our promos that take place in the real world or that take place outside of the world of The Walking Dead can we say that zombies are real. So we always have to, because zombies are very real in the world of The Walking Dead, but they don't exist outside of that. So anything we do for Walking Dead that involves a zombie, there's going to be a turn at the end where, oh, it's a dream, oh, it was an actor, oh, it was a hallucination. And in this case, because we're like, well, how the hell do we explain there was an actual real zombie here? And we cut to Seth and Zach in director's chairs, like at a press interview basically, and Zach goes, and we call it Neighbors 3: Zombies Rising. So, oh, he was giving a movie pitch. Okay, zombies aren't real.
Huh.
So that one, that's what I got the 2 Cleos for. Like, it's a really, really cool promo. Universal, like, from then on, it was always like, we got to do something huge like that. So one of the next ones was Halloween, and they were like, can Michael Myers show up in a Walking Dead scene? Like, not even in an episode, but like as part of a commercial. We were like, no, because we also like we don't break any of the magic of the show. So during a commercial break, you'll never see one of the actors from the show not playing their character.
Huh.
So we couldn't like break the universe of The Walking Dead by suddenly having Michael Myers, who doesn't exist, show up in this world. But we were like, how can we have him in the environments? Because they were going to premiere a special trailer during The Walking Dead. So we wanted the message to be like, Michael Myers is coming to The Walking Dead. And how do we show this? And it was like, can we just show him walking around the set? But we reveal that it's the set. Like you see, so like the junkyard, it's just when you're inside the junkyard, like it's cars piled up and stuff. And if you step 1 foot out, it's just like plywood walls on the outside of it.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, can we show him walking past that? And it's like, well, no, that's gonna kind of ruin the magic.
Right.
So we just shot it looking like Walking Dead, but Michael Myers walking through, and then there's like one shot where you see studio lights and stuff, and that's how we get around the rule. But we knew what height the guy needed to be playing Michael Myers, because we couldn't use like whoever was playing the shape in the movie. And we found this guy. He's local to Atlanta. He lives like across the street from Melissa McBride, who plays Carol. And he was the right height, the right build, and he shows up, and his neck is like a foot long. And we're like, okay, that might look a little weird, but let's get the mask on him. We got it on him, and you can still see like a lot of Adam's apple. And I have no small Adam's apple, but this was like too much. It's like, okay, well, let's think about it. We mostly see him from behind until that last shot. We're okay for all the wides, and we're shooting that last shot last, so we'll figure that one out later. And then we got to the last shot, and it's the only one where he's actually facing camera, and it's just too much neck. And we're all kind of like, okay, how do we figure this out? And then I had stepped away to go to the bathroom, and when I got back, everyone was kind of looking at me. I was like, "Oh no! What did I miss?" And they're like, they like held the jumpsuit next to me to see if it fit, and I'm too short for it, but they were like, "That doesn't matter. We'll see you from like belly button up."
Yeah.
And I was like, "I'm gonna fucking do this. That's the real mask."
Yeah.
It was the real mask. It was the real mechanic suit, the real boots. It stayed in my hotel room the night before. Like the person from Universal like brought it in this duffel bag, but her room wasn't ready, so we wanted to keep the bag safe. So I was like, "We'll just put it in mine." I was so tempted to open it up, but I was like, "What if I unzip it and like alarms go off at Universal Studios?" And they know, or there's like a camera inside and they'll have a picture of me like this person just broke into the bag.
Did they tell you couldn't open it?
No, but like,
I mean, I totally get it. I just like, I didn't know if there was a strict, you cannot see this.
No, I mean, I'm sure there was no security thing in there, but that would be a really bad way to test whether or not there is.
Yeah.
What my dad always says is locks keep honest people out. Like
Yeah.
if you put a security thing in there, if somebody really wants to get in, they're going to get in. But
Mhm.
me being like an honest, nervous person, I was just like, I'm going to like forget what's in there.
Well, it's not like you weren't going to see it the next day anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Like
So,
there's no reason to look at your Christmas presents.
right. You'll get it.
Um, so I had to strip in front of everybody. Because we were like out in the woods. There was no motorhome or anything to step into, and the sunlight was running out real fast. It was about to get so dark, so I just put on the thing, and then like they bring me the mask, and they've Cloroxed the inside, so it stunk of Clorox. They put like dark makeup around my eyes because it's supposed to just look kind of empty.
Yeah.
So I looked like Nightman from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, just like that like raccoon
Yes.
makeup.
Yep.
And then I put it on and it stunk of chlorine. And then they had to like press the eye holes around my eyes kind of to make sure they lined up. So there's like really sharp latex kind of digging into my eyelids. It was really unpleasant. And then all I had to do was like the head cock, like the puppy dog thing. And but like having the mask there kind of restricted my neck, so I didn't know how far I had to go to make it.
Mhm.
Like I couldn't even tell how far I was tilting my head, honestly. And nobody was saying like more, 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 more. It was just like, okay, do it. Okay, do it again, but more.
Oh.
But no reference of, and there's no sound being recorded. They should have just been like turn, 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 stop.
Oh. Yeah.
So I think I was only just like cocking my head a little tiny bit to the right. So they ended up not using the shot. But I do have like footage of me wearing it, and it's the real thing. So I'm fucking counting that as canon.
Yeah. Yeah. You're basically Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Kevin Myers.
But it was, but like, I realized I had never told you this. This happened two and
Yeah.
a half years ago. But it's one of those things I just can't.
Oh wow. I would have
Like
known
I
you.
can't talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you probably knew I was going on that trip.
Yeah. I probably didn't know what you were doing. I just knew you were
Right. I
on
was
a
like,
trip.
I'm going to
Yeah.
be in Atlanta for 4 days.
Yeah.
But then by the time you're allowed to talk about it, like you've forgotten about it and nobody cares.
Yeah.
Or you don't care.
Huh.
You meaning me,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
storyteller, is just like, oh yeah, that happened. Like it's so you've moved on to such other things. Like it's just such a footnote. But meanwhile, like if me at 16 seeing Halloween for the first time, if you had told me like, hey, 20 years from now, you're going to
Yeah.
be wearing that in a national commercial.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess you probably, because there's a new Halloween coming out this Halloween.
Yeah, we were going to try to do stuff for it because it was supposed to come out this Halloween.
Yeah.
I think.
Right.
And now it's 2022 even?
Yeah, I thought it was still slated for this year.
Because Universal comes to AMC each year, and they're like, these are the 4 or 5 big movies we want to do something for. Do you have any ideas? So like, we want to do something for Candyman.
It still says October 15th, 2021.
All right.
Now, the internet is never wrong.
Well, yeah, I mean, we conceived of that thing in like late August.
Yeah, Halloween.
Before the Halloween it came out.
Halloween Ends comes out in 2022.
And this is Halloween Kills.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not great with names, at least as long as it's not Resurrection.
Or H21.
H2. Oh. They could have capitalized on H2O again. Just saying.
They could have, but good thing they didn't because it wouldn't have made sense.
No. Well,
it's like that beautiful, beautiful Tokyo 2020 Olympics logo.
Yeah. That they keep showing, even though it's now in 2021.
It's perfection. And they can't use it.
Nope. I've seen some commercials with it though. Oh yeah, with the
rising sun as the red one.
Yep. Oh, that is actually really cool.
Somebody probably got like $40,000 to make that thing.
I'm in the wrong business.
Oh, I say that once a week. I see what like a voiceover guy makes to say, brought to you by Tylenol.
Ooh, I should get that job.
It's like, that is a $440 sentence.
Sorry, Jack texted us.
Should we read it to the...
Random thought, I own Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy for Xbox, but never play either because no opponents. If you boys were to download it, it could make for a good game night with your respective significant others. Especially Wheel of Fortune, where it's super easy to play as a team of two. Just a thought, throwing it out there.
I don't know what the question is. Oh.
He's
asking us to play Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune or something. Yeah. But do you type in the answers?
I'm not sure.
We can look into this.
It must be.
But it might not be.
Well, how else would you put in an answer? Like, Jeopardy's not multiple choice.
Oh, I meant, can you speak it?
Oh, that's actually...
Because I hate fucking typing the answer.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's a timer, too.
Yeah. Like, does somebody host?
Funny story about my life. So, I can't remember what the fuck I was doing. Oh, I was tutoring someone. So, we were watching TV, and we use a media server application called Plex. So, it's like when I download stuff, it's on a computer in my basement, and then we watch it on our TVs. So, our Roku upstairs, sometimes the audio doesn't work. So, we restarted, it didn't work. So, to make sure it was the Roku and not the soundbar or something, I turned on my Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
We have Plex on my Xbox, too. There's also a Plex app for the TV. So when I heard that there was audio on Xbox, I went to the Plex app on TV. Turned something on, came in here, and I come out, TV, nothing's on. And she goes, I turned on your Xbox controller, pushed A and B a bunch. I couldn't get Plex to work. And I'm like, well, it's the app on the TV. She goes, oh, that makes more sense. I checked my email. She bought an Xbox game by jamming buttons. And I was like, got the email, and I looked, and I'm like, oh, someone got my account. I looked at the time, it was like 5:11, and I was tutoring from 5 to 6. And I looked at her, I'm like, you bought a game. And she's like, what, really? And I'm like, yeah, it's this baseball game that I had the trial to, and when you start the game, the first thing it says is, do you want to buy this game?
Do you want to buy it?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And she goes, well, hopefully you like it. I said, no, I've been playing the trial because the game is so frustrating and it doesn't always work that I didn't want to spend $45 on it. I said, and now I own it. And I was playing it before, and I'm like, why do I keep playing this game? I said, oh, yeah, someone fucking bought it, and I feel this need to play it to get my money's worth now. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why that delights me so much.
It's like, it's so comically perfect.
Yeah.
That, like, I'm not even mad because the sheer happenstance of how that worked is amazing to me.
No, it is pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's not a big loss like that little girl that bought $1,000 worth of Smurf berries. On her mom's iPhone.
Yeah, that's the problem. So now once in a while, I'll joke. I'm like, please don't buy anything.
Oh, I'm sure she loves that.
Nah, I'm the one. I spend more money than she does. Just so happens that sometimes she spends my money.
Oopsie daisy.
Yeah, it is what it is. But I don't know if you have any other stories. I'm starting to get really fucking tired.
I mean, I'll come back for...
I was going to say, we can always just do this again. Well, that's going to do it for the first Fireside Chat. Sorry, it just kind of ended. It was, I was tired, whatever, you could probably tell by listening. But we certainly are going to do more now that we have kind of an idea of how to handle this, since it is super freeform. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. Check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Monster Madness Pod. We have a Patreon if you want to help fund what we do here. As I mentioned in the intro, Twitch, Monster Madness Pod. Just come, stop by, hang out, email the show. I don't know, man. Keep in touch. And hopefully we'll be back with you soon. All right. Thanks, guys.